You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
And you lay them over the back of the chair.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out, about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 454th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks tonight. We've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello.
Also, Jess. What's going on, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greeps, everybody.
And we've got a returning guest host for this season, Will. Welcome back, Will. How's it going?
Oh, wonderful, thank you. Hello, everyone.
And feedback participant Eric, longtime feedbacker. Welcome to the show, sir. It's been a few weeks since we've had you on, so figured we'd cycle you back through. What's going on?
Yeah, I missed y'all. Great to be here.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. So tonight we're gonna do a little bit of our gameplay off the top, as we do per the usual. Also have a little bit of trailer talk about the Fallout TV show just around the corner. You can almost taste it, you guys. We're doing a roundtable right now. This season we're doing Fallout 3 and the DLC. Well, not and the DLC. The Fallout 3 DLC. A lot of people kind of rushed through the main quest, I feel like. Anybody finish it? Did people finish it?
Anybody here?
Not yet. That is what I'm going to be working on until we go to space.
A few listeners are close. I think one or two may have finished. I think the ones that are close, though, made it as far as Vault 87 and Little Lamplight, but I don't know they actually did the final couple missions or not.
Very
I haven't touched the main quest.
Yeah. I mean, I did it just to go see Three Dog, but
Yep.
on that,
Can he
I get in further.
Can he become a companion later? He doesn't, does he?
Only in your heart. Your constant companion on the radio on those lonely nights in the
God,
wasteland.
can you imagine having him following you around? He would never shut up.
It would just be like Travis listening to himself talk on the radio in Fallout 4. So we'll get through the Operation Anchorage is the first leg of our Fallout 3 DLC roundtable. We'll get into those quests tonight. And your feedback comes next week. Please send your 5-minute file to the Fallout Feed at gmail.com. and tell us about your experiences going through Operation Anchorage. We'd love to hear from you. Also coming up on this episode, this I can guarantee you will not happen, but on the schedule we do have 3 games. I don't know. we're going crazy with it here.
I'm game.
3 games. I'm game. So we'll do some iguana bits as well. Got a little bit of Fallout news, and that should definitely fill up our schedule for this evening. So why don't we go ahead and roll right into it and check in with Ray and see if Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games this week, sir?
I really just played a lot of Starfield.
Attaboy. What you been doing?
So I had started a new character, kind of a jack of all trades, been playing around with that, doing a bunch of stuff, playing around with, weapon crafting, spacesuit crafting, all that kind of thing.
Are you to the point now where you can just be like, all right, I'm going to start a new character. I'm going to hit bang, bang, bang. I'm going to go to this spot because I want that weapon. I'm going to go to this spot because that outfit's cool. And I'm going to go to that spot because I need that, whatever. Like, are you already have this mapped out in your head? Like, this is a Skyrim or Fallout 4 type run by now?
No, I mean, to some extent, but not for any of those things. So, when I get started, I have a magazine run that I do to get all of the non-combat magazines. So the ones that you can just pick up without any trouble.
Is that something you've mentioned before?
I think so. I've done it ever since I started playing very hard. Because it's got some nice helpers. There's some extra carry capacity at the Freestar Collective. I don't remember what exactly the building's called, but it's like their barracks.
The Rock?
No, not the Rock. It's the
the barracks. Yeah, okay.
the
Yeah, I don't
building,
know what that's called
the
either.
Building off to the side. So just stuff like that, extra carry weight. Different types of guns have bigger magazines. Stuff like that. And
Cool.
then I always go to Serpentis to land on the moon 5C.
Serpentis. I hardly know us.
And that's where I go to get my first ship, and also pick up some good helmets and jetpacks, because if you go to the collapsed mines there, you can get some advanced and superior headgear and boost packs.
Nice.
I love the Varun ships.
And then from there, I jump over to, what's the name of that system? I keep wanting to call it Modena, but it's not. Anyway, the closest level 75 system that you can get to.
Okay.
And that's where I go, visit the facilities and fight the level 98 bosses to get the best equipment.
So that is a bit of a ritual, but
Yeah.
it's more of a leveling ritual of getting some base gear and then leveling.
Yeah, because it's there isn't any place where you can go where you can say I will always get this weapon, or I will always get this armor, or anything like that. So
Yeah, aside from big
there's
quest
never
rewards,
fixed
stuff where
drops.
people are like, I'm going to beeline for, the Mantis gear and ship, or I'm going to beeline to do the Ranger's quest line and get the
Yeah.
Star Ranger. But that takes a little while. I mean, you don't get this. It would be difficult to jump right to the Ranger's quest line and finish it before level, 18 to 20, probably. Maybe
yeah,
50.
because
I don't know.
the thing is that when you're doing very hard, items like those don't level. So when you go get the Mantis gear, it's not going to be advanced or superior.
Ugh.
It's going to be the same as, if you were playing it on normal.
They've created a
because-
system where the legendaries are better, or like the drops, the natural legendary drops are better than
From-
the advanced gear. Wow.
from higher level enemies.
Mhm.
So the reason why I'm getting advanced and superior gear is because I'm fighting level 98 enemies and because you're playing on very hard, you get higher quality drops. And
What level are you when you're fighting these level 98 bad guys on very hard?
at the beginning, usually 7 or 8.
And you have no trouble with these
Oh,
bad
no, I
guys?
have a lot of trouble.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like when I played on the Twitch, I die several times. It's
Mhm.
just the price you pay. You try really hard not to die, but because you hear Moira in your head. But the reality is you're gonna die.
I don't hear any Moira in my head.
Good hunting.
yes, you
Try not to
do.
die.
The ghosts of Moira's.
Yeah.
Her chains
When you try to
are
sleep at night.
rattling.
but slowly but surely, as you start accumulating, these better and better weapons, now instead of, 300 rounds to kill one boss, now it might only take 100 rounds. And then, slowly but surely it gets to be a more and more manageable level as you get better and better stuff.
And that's when you quit and start over.
Yeah.
When the goal is
Hard
finishing the
reset.
game to start again. It is kind of funny. The path you put yourself on is basically rushing to the end in a way, right? Like your actual goal is to get to a point where you don't have to play this character anymore, so you can play another character.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, but you're doing creative things with them. You're doing other things at the same time too, trying different skills and stuff. So
Right.
it's a pretty cool
and that's
loop.
the thing, trying to figure out, what skills are useful, which ones aren't. Now, there's a YouTuber that I've followed for a long time. He does a lot of great legendary Skyrim builds and stuff like that. Major Slack. Victor and I talked about that on the Skyrim Addict quite a bit.
Mhm.
Well, Major Slack is playing Starfield, and now he's come up with his hardcore survival challenge. And so I started that today. And the big thing with this is that, so I disabled my ammo crafting mod because that makes it so much easier when you can just make all the ammo you want. So that with this new one, so I won't have ammo crafting. You can only use meds that you craft yourself. So without that crafting mod, I also can't make stim packs like I could before. You can't buy anything except for ship modules, the ship repair parts, or ship repair services. You can also only buy medical healing services. You can't buy med packs. So nothing else can be purchased. And part of the goal for that is that now you have to gather all of your own resources. So, one of the things that I always do is, my first stop when I get to Jemison is to head over to the Mercantile and, buy up all of the the components that they have in stock and
Right.
shove them in the ship so that I can go start building, some bullet farms. So now at this point, I won't be able to buy any of that stuff. I'll have to go collect it all, which should be interesting. And the other thing is that you can't exceed your maximum carry weight.
Oh, okay. So you can never be over cucumbered. If you get cucumbered, you must drop right then and there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you can't take one step over encumbered.
So it's like Morrowind.
Now I don't typically do it, but he has on his list that you can't use the UC flight simulator to boost your piloting skill. I don't do that anyway, so that one's not a big deal for me.
Mhm.
Also, some of the ones that I'm like, okay, fine, I'll sacrifice this.
Companions.
No companions, no crew.
Oh no.
So a little bit more challenging will be no contraband and no thieving. So,
Yeah, definitely, because you make a decent amount of money with contraband when you find it.
yeah. And that's part of my regular circuit when I get started. There's always the contraband under the bed, in the room where I go to get the magazine at the Red Mile. And then I just pick that up and run it down to the bar and sell it there.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Neon, you run into Neon security and you steal the contraband out of the contraband case.
It's just out
jail.
there in the open. It's like they don't really care about security at all.
No. So I'll have to skip all that. So he's got something that he hasn't completely revealed yet, that he's calling the 7 gauntlets of the galaxy. And so you have to be able to complete these 7 gauntlets in order to start the main quest in the game.
Wow. Okay, so you have to accomplish like these 7 things before you're even allowed to start the main quest. Like,
Right.
Can you at least do Sarah, Mars, and Mora, and then?
Nope.
Ooh. I'm curious what he's going to make you do.
Yeah, which again, I never do.
Fair. So really, the biggest deviations from you are buying resources and contraband and carry weight, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So he's gotten through the first 2 parts of the series so far. So it'll be interesting. But he's pretty funny. He's my age. And so a lot of the references he makes, I understand because, they're old guy jokes. But so that's where I'm at with.
Wait, could you explain that? I don't get it.
I could try, but you still would. So
burn back. Roasted.
I did hop in to No Man's Sky and finished up. The community had finally completed all of the planet surveys, and so we were able to completely complete the expedition.
Get your cartographer's badge. Good job, guys.
So, and then I played some Fallout 3, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, sounds good. Is any other gameplay stuff you wanted to mention there, Ray?
That was pretty much it.
All right. How about you, Jess? Did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
Oh, hey. Yeah, I did. And it's all Ray's fault, at least partly. I don't know if it was right after the show last week, but just a little bit of Starfield last week, talking about Ray's smaller ship and what he was doing with it. Like, I miss Starfield. Since I went Starborn on the 26th of January, I remember the days when my life changed forever. I only hopped in for pics, here and there, just a few pictures and stuff. And I got into Baldur's Gate and did other things. And you guys know I haven't been playing much Starfield. Well, I had to. I couldn't resist. So I realized one of my biggest stumbling blocks was that I didn't want to go through the Unity yet. For people who haven't played Starfield, just a quick thing. The end of the game is where you can go through the Unity to start a new game. It's what New Game Plus. And I wasn't ready for that. I did it because it's a goal. It's finishing the game. But there are other ways to handle it. So instead, I deleted that save where I had gone through that I was saving for when I do my next full playthrough in a couple months. And I'm like, nope. This way, when I jump in, I'm on the character I want to play, still in her, Prime universe. And I deleted it right off my hard drive. And so it was great. Got back in my ship with my crew. Still no Andreja, but that is what it is. And it was excellent because, first of all, getting to check a few more locations with some of the lighting changes they made at the patch early February looks wonderful. A lot of interiors really are nice. NPCs, well, they got rid of the whole crazy ass McGee look back, 3-4 months ago. Some of the NPCs were still a little bit, gooftastic. And so, yeah, they did another pass on NPCs in general. Not necessarily vendors and, major NPCs, but just the people wandering around the cities wandering around the landscape. Some of them were a bit goofy looking at times, and maybe odd skin textures and stuff. So they fixed all that, and yeah, it really is good. So it was great to see that. And my big thing was, I want to, get this character set. So I'm just working on bases and building ships. I jumped into the shipbuilder and I went to buy a new ship to start working on, and I'm like, no, I'm not feeling this. So instead, I went to my base, my Lake Amata base, which is the one I built right across the lake from New Atlantis. And I spent several hours just building that up, playing with the modules, remembering how they work. Because, there aren't a whole lot of points to bases in Starfield besides, we talked about it, resources. I mean, some people are practical and only want the resources. But beyond that, there's not really a whole lot you can do with the decorations and such either. It's not the best for that. So, I'm like, well, what am I going to do? But actually diving in and playing with it more, I am figuring out tricks, learning things. There have been a few, some people doing build videos on YouTube, even though it's early days for the build system, especially without mods, about ways to be able to stack your hab modules so you can get rid of the supports underneath and do more creative stuff. And, some of the classic rug tricks and stacking tricks work and all that. And so, yeah, I spent a lot of time building a base, and it was great to be back in Starfield. Love it. Beyond that, playing my Baldur's Gate 3. It's funny because I've got both Eric and Will here today, but it's,
Yeah.
there are a lot of us, and we'll talk about that stuff if they want to when we get to them. For me, I can just say I'm continuing my Baldur's Gate run, still in Act 1. I only played a day or two this week, and doing Lae'zel's personal quest line. My characters are almost level 7, getting up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
And you're still in Act 1. That's
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
I think I was level 4 when I hit Act 2.
I think a lot of people finish around 5, maybe just hitting 6 for Act 2. But yeah, I haven't done the Goblin Camp yet. Haven't got Halsin. I haven't finished Lae'zel's quest, and I'm about 6.5. So, I'm doing literally everything.
A lot more than I did, apparently.
You did the same thing with Starfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
I tend to play really thoroughly. That's
You had played like 3 months before you ever left New Atlantis.
Oh, that's an exaggeration, but I didn't get to Neon until about 2-3 months in. It's true. Or Parima. Just got to put stuff off. Yeah, but that's kind of how I play. We all have our ways of playing, and going through Fallout with everyone over all the years we've done this show. Y'all haven't ever seen me done a first play on a game like that I love as much, besides 76, which we all did together. And this is how I always do a first play, hundreds and hundreds of hours, just trying to learn everything about the game, the systems, how it's set up and stuff. And that way future playthroughs could be a little quicker.
No, I mean, that's great. Like, you learn as much as you can about the game before you pick and choose what you want to do later on.
Yep.
I totally get it.
It helps, and that's because I like being able to answer questions and knowing that kind of stuff. So,
And as someone that has spent 600 hours on my first playthrough
yes,
in Baldur's Gate 3, I totally support your decision to.
No, I mean, I thought I was being thorough. I've said this in Discord. I don't know how many times I thought I did everything, like each act before I moved on, and then you guys keep bringing stuff up. I'm like, where the hell was that at?
I think you're more thorough than most, Eric. This is a game that's designed to take multiple playthroughs. There's no way you can see or find everything in a first playthrough with all the changes with classes and everything else. I mean, it's awesome. So yeah, still loving my Baldur's Gate 3 for sure. I will actually save the Redfall talk for when Eric's up. I did. So it's funny. For whatever reason, okay, I know what the reason. There was a sale, and you guys know how a lot of times when sales happen, you buy stuff.
Mhm.
Well, I bought like 8 games this week, just mostly smaller games, but because I mostly play Game Pass when I'm aside from the big games I buy. But there was a sale on ID at Xbox games, and my friend Howie had been recommending Control. I had that on my wish list. Well, it went on sale. I'm like, $9 for Control. So I bought Control Ultimate Edition for $9. Then while I was in the store, see, that's what they do. They get you in the store for the thing in the flyer, and then you see these other things. It's just like that. Even with digital, you think digital shopping would save us, but no, it's even easier now. So anyway, I picked up a whole bunch of games. I have to say, Balatro, pretty cool.
Kelsey's been talking about that a lot. So yeah.
It's a fun little, yeah. It's an interesting game. I've just barely started it, but it's one of the ones I picked up because I've been hearing stuff about it. And yeah, poker adventure.
Mhm.
Kind of.
Yeah, he's obsessed with it, apparently.
That's awesome. So yeah, a little shopping spree there. And so you might be hearing about a lot of little indies over the next few weeks as I check them all out. Or they'll just go in the backlog because that happens too. And
I'm
then
excited to hear about those. Yeah.
a couple nights playing Fallout 3. I took 2 nights this week, maybe. I don't think I played 3 times. I think I only played 2 nights, but it was some good full nights of Fallout 3 play in order to get my character up to snuff a little bit and then go in and do the Operation Anchorage. Still enjoying Wilbur a lot. Things have changed for him with Operation Anchorage, for sure. It's getting some good weapons there because I have an energy weapons focus, and I didn't really have energy weapons before. My character rolled energy, and I just had a laser pistol. So my small gun skill of 20 was not serving me in good stead. I was trying, but it was not always the best. And just pling, pling, pling with my laser pistol. But now got some good energy weapons from Operation Anchorage, and I got enough levels. I think I'm level 9 now. So skills are getting up there a bit, which is great. Still lower level than a lot of you, but having a good time with Fallout 3. That's most of my gameplay.
Very cool. Thank you so much. How about you, Will? What you been getting into, sir?
Well, if mostly I've been setting up like my some Skyrim VR. I think it's been about like 8 days. I told y'all last time I was on that I
Nice.
bought one of those MetaQuest 3s, and I think after the show I mentioned what I wanted
That's awesome.
to get into is Skyrim VR. Pretty much the universal consensus of it is that it's a fairly lackluster port. Unless you mod it, which is the way with so many games, in which case it's almost like like pinnacle of VR gaming, I guess. I don't know. But so I had to there was it was a little tricky, I guess, and fall for me, I'm not too knowledgeable with all that stuff, but I had to, put it a clean install on a separate drive. So I bought a new drive and put it on and tried to get it's a different mod program like WABAJack, I guess, that so you can
Yeah,
kind of like
it's similar to
collections.
Vortex Collections.
Yeah. So I used the WABAJack and I installed this main collection. It's called Foos, which is fundamental upgrades and stuff. So I got that working, got in the VR world, and it seems to be doing great. I got it all modded. I added a bunch of extra mods on there. I have a little role play with this. I've named my character Lorelei again, just because same one. I don't know why I'm stuck with that, because I'm stuck on Gilmore Girls.
I was gonna say Lorelai Gilmore.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely stuck on Gilmore Girls right now, and I have this role play going. And well, also Ray, have you heard of that mod? Is it Herica? Have y'all played with that? It's that AI, the ChatGPT based mod.
Oh, okay.
No,
New companion.
Yeah, so it's a companion AI mod, and she is going to be Rory. And then I'm going to get this wolf companion mod that's going to be Paul Anka, and we're going to do it. But so the whole role play is that we fell asleep while watching medieval movies on the sofa, and then we wake up in Skyrim, and I have to get her to the College of Winterhold before the semester starts, and but I'm still trying to figure it out. I have it, all the mods are working at it, a few extra ones on top of that. The AI ones, I'm having a little bit of trouble with it because it's not picking up when I'm speaking to it. Like I approach her and I get a prompt to talk to her, but it's like it wants an input from keyboard, and I've tried to use keyboard and it won't do it. So I don't quite have it figured out yet, but I do, like, all my prompts and stuff are working. It knows my role play because I've walked up to her and she's like, "Oh, hey mom, it's a funny place this here, huh? It's a little bit like Stars Hollow." And she's talking and all that. So she knows I'm her mom and what we're doing and all that, but I gotta figure it out. Anyways, but I put a hold on that to get to the Fallout 3 and the quests and stuff. Although I did a little bit, Jess, sometimes there's a sale and you buy things.
Yes.
Sounds like we're all
Yes.
victim of that.
Make me feel better, which we didn't even get into Fallout merch yet, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, make me feel better.
Yeah. No, so I just tried this little thing. This game. I'm probably not the target audience for it, but it was called what's it? Class of '09, I think it is. It's described as a social simulator for sociopaths.
Oh,
That sounds like
And,
my kind of game.
Yeah, well, and it's sort of like a visual novel. I seem to be into visual novels lately. You know, I've tried. Well, I love Doki Doki Literature Club, and then I tried that the Nostalgic Train, a bunch of those doing those. This one, it seemed like it was trying to be like it was definitely trying to be edgy. Like the girl, it's like it starts out, I'm a sociopath, you know, and you just follow it around and do different things, and it kind of goes over the top. It had overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, but you know, it's a lot of like she's just cursing at her mom, their teachers, and everything like that. And she sort of
you
thinks,
can't, Will, you can't
Yeah.
trust them. Okay. No, they've been going a little bit negative on Starfield lately. I don't trust Steam
Yeah?
reviews anymore.
Oh.
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
yeah,
No.
what?
No, but you're enjoying it? Is it good?
So it was all right. Like I went through, like I was like it was like I said, it was a little bit over the top. Like it's Class of '09. I think it's designed for more like some like teen angst, rage sort of people from that period. Like she thinks like everyone is a pedophile and a rapist, and
What?
but to her defense in the game, most of the people she encountered really are. So,
Oh God.
but
That sounds like a bizarre
yeah.
game. Is
Yeah.
it
This
very
is actually kind of getting me to want to try it.
teen
Well-
edgy? Like, is it a metal soundtrack?
Yeah, well, I don't even know what the music was on it, really. I didn't pay attention to that. But there's a whole bunch of different things. Like I went through, it's a short game. Like I looked it up how long, like a completionist playthrough is like 5 hours. That's if you want
Oh.
every ending. There's like 15 to 20 endings. And so I played through once for like half an hour, and she ended up like as a fry cook at McDonald's. And I think, okay, well, that was fun. And then I don't know, a little bit later, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do another playthrough, even though it was like I didn't really know what I thought of it. And this time I had, a little different ending, but there's all sorts of endings. Like you can, one of them she overdoses, one of them she commits suicide, one
God.
of them she gets killed by a school shooter. One, one she goes to prison. Like there's a whole bunch of different ones. I do kind of want to see a bunch of those. But anyways, that was that game.
So, testing your VR headset with some light fare. This was
Yes.
VR? Yes.
Yeah. Well, that game I was just talking about, the Class of '09, that wasn't VR. The only thing I
okay.
really did in VR was, other than watch a little bit more Expanse, is just trying to get into the Skyrim, because
Okay.
I really want to do it. It looks good, kind of awesome. I did do some tests, like I went to Winterhold before I added that haircut mod. Went to Winterhold, went down into the little, that tunnels where that magic thing happens and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
it seems to be working fine. I want to get that AI mod going so I can
Oh my
do my
God.
little role play.
Winterhold
What's that?
Cribs. You go down to, what is it called? The Midden? You'd be like,
Yeah.
this is where the magic happens. Sorry.
And so that was all of that, and then it was just on to Fallout 3. I had a little bit to do before we got to the before we started that thing, our quest for this week, which I'd loaded it back in. I was at Temple of the Union there, the one I had last left off. I remember I had freed Clover. Well, I don't know, when I loaded in, for some reason everyone was just all hostile and shooting us all, so I had to go back to a previous save before that. And then when I did that, for whatever reason, this time I decided not to free Clover there. But so I went over to just Temple of the Union, the Lincoln Memorial, and I went inside there, that Leroy Walker, who he's looking for freed slaves, and he's like, "You hadn't seen any, are you?" And I gave some comment like, "Oh, yeah, I know some are," or I forgot to say, but it was funny. I always love it when these games do this. Like he's talking to me, and I'm standing there with Clover with a slave collar on her neck. But
And he didn't
it's-
see her standing right there.
No, he didn't say anything. Okay. But anyway, so we got that done, and by the time I finished that, like I cleaned up my radiation, I was at my deadly radiation. I was at 980 something radiation.
Oh man.
God.
Yeah, barely. I didn't know if I was going to make it back. I got over to Rivet City, finally, it was close. Went to the dock, cleaned up my radiation, went back to the Temple of the Union, brought the slaves over. And even again, by the time I got back over there, my radiation was already at like 400 and something again. I don't know if something's wrong I don't know if it's that I'm playing on very hard or the weather mods that I have or what, but my radiation doesn't stop.
You're always hearing the Geiger counter ticking away.
Yeah, well, a lot of times, yeah. Not always, but it is a lot. Like all of a sudden it's just going it just says up and going to +1, every second. And I think it's the weather. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounded like the
any
weather
extra-
mod from what you were saying last week or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And so there was right around there, I think it was from another mod, there's this person called Charlie that you can meet, and he's dying, he's about to die. He gives you a note that you can go to, it says you can go explore the Capitol building, but he's also like, my mom back in Tenpenny Tower is can you just give her this note for me? And I'm like, all right, fine. And I figured it was a good excuse to go back to Tenpenny Tower and try one more time to get the suite if I could, since I'm already locked out of the Megaton house. I went up there. I tried to talk to Mr. Tenpenny, and he was sniper shots at all the people down there, and my character decided he didn't like that, so killed him. And yeah, and then a little bit later, I was like, okay, can I resolve with maybe at least get the ghouls in here? I tried to convince everyone again, and everyone did except for that Millicent Wellington. And then I learned, was it Jeff or Matt talked last week about that love letter that actually you can give to her, and then she learns about that and can change it. So I was like, oh, let me go find that love letter. I go and get the love letter, but every time I go back to talk to Millicent again, she's just like, I can't talk now, and I've waited days and all this, and she won't talk. So we went in a room where the door was shut, and I killed her too.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's really all I did. I went back up just to see, because I'm still trying to get in the Tenpenny Tower suite. I had read online that sometimes there's a glitch where if you go on the balcony outside, you can pick the lock and get in. So I did that, but my game wasn't like that. But while I was up there, I saw Mr. Tenpenny again, and I used that as an excuse that let me see if I can, Dr. Lee had told me about Three Dog, and I should go visit Three Dog or whoever did. It's like, let me see if I can pick up the GNR radio station. Of course I can't because I haven't done that. But that was my excuse that, oh, okay, what is this distress call? And so he hears about that, and because he's feeling a little bit guilty about shooting Millicent, not so much Mr. Tenpenny, he decides he's going to go answer that, and it'll sate his, thirst for blood a little bit. And
Perfect.
that's basically it before doing the quest. Yeah.
So you jumped over there from Tenpenny Tower as opposed to going
walked
to
over
Three
there.
Dogs.
Yeah, and I walked over there, and again, my radiation, like I said, 400. I go down to Dr. Branfield there, clean out my radiation before walking over to where you start the Anchorage quest. And by the time I got over there, my rads were back up to 600. So I don't know.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, that's not even survival mode. You've got something going haywire. My goodness.
Yeah.
It is a challenge.
And
though.
what level are you at?
I was actually on the way there. I hit 12 on the way there, which was perfect because I got my last perk that I was assigned, Sniper, which turned out to be very beneficial on the quest. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you take rad resistant at level 8?
I did not. Yeah, maybe I should, huh? Well, and I was wondering because I've taken the Radex before, seeing if that would work, but I felt like it didn't help because all it is, it's just the one rad, every second that's just kind of constantly going, I think, unless there's extra radiation sneaking in somewhere.
I mean, it all adds up. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
25% rad resistance would help.
yeah.
But
It
well,
should
I mean,
help.
if I'm only taking 1 per second, what's it going to reduce it to?
Yeah,
0.75.
0.75.
Will it? Okay.
We owe each other, Nicole.
Will it not just round it back up to 1? Okay. Hopefully, I guess I'll try it.
It probably will, actually. It probably will. There's probably a
Like, how can
minimum.
Yeah.
It's not going to make it 0, is it? So I didn't think it was worth it, but maybe I'll try it at this point.
Or look up the description of the mod and see if you should uninstall your weather mod. Unless you're enjoying the challenge.
I mean, if it's a weather mode, are there any other settings aside from rain?
There are. You can do snow and some other things like that. And I did switch it to snow for a little bit in the Anchorage. But that wasn't radiation wasn't in a problem while we were in those quests anyways, because well, not most, some of it was, but you know. Yeah. But it doesn't say radiated rain, radiation rain.
Alrighty. Was that all the gameplay you want to mention there, Will?
Yeah, that was it. You know, we'll talk about the quest stuff in a little bit.
Absolutely. We should get to that here in just a little bit, but why don't we check in with Eric, see what he's been getting into recently?
Okay.
You know, you host a plethora of podcasts, etc., and have all these games you play. I don't know how you find time to do it, sir.
Yeah. Somehow I fit it all in. I don't know how.
Not to mention school.
Yeah. I'm
And work.
in a web design class right now, so just gonna kind of skim through these. There's only so much I can talk about Baldur's Gate because Jess here is still in Act 1. What I will say though is that I've been wrapping up some of the characters' stories. I've wrapped up Shadow Hearts. I've wrapped up. I've somewhat wrapped up Will's quest. Just did that recently. Let's see. Still kind of working on Lae'zel.
These are all
and
companions.
Gale, yes.
Mhm.
I've had a couple of very prominent fights in this story recently that took a bit. So yeah, it's so hard not to just say what these are.
So are you and Shadowheart still dating?
Yeah.
Nice. And she's not dead?
No.
Okay, well, good to know her story can have a happy ending at least.
We're very much a thing. We've had our scene, like our big scene.
Oh.
So, yeah. Yeah.
He's blushing. He's blushing, everybody.
That was fun. So yeah, like I said, I really don't know what else I can say that won't spoil things. I guess maybe I'm about to move to part 2 of Act 3 here shortly. Will probably would understand what I'm saying there. Like the last battle of that first part in Act 3, about to have that. He's saying something I can't really say it.
I hope it's climactic.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which one because I know there's different ways. But so, like, you're still in the
there's the
lower
3
city?
battles that you have to do. Yeah, in the lower city. So I'm about to wrap up with those 3. I'm about to have.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I know. Okay.
So,
Well, and the one thing you can say is whether or not you've been having fun.
yes, absolutely. So yeah, I guess that's really all I can say about Baldur's Gate without spoiling anything.
That's awesome. Is it a great game? I mean, are
Absolutely.
you with everybody who thinks it was maybe game of the year last year and just a really great game?
Well, it's like I've said, I've already kind of got my second character somewhat planned already for whenever this one ends. So yes, it's awesome, and this is the first really exposure I've had to any Baldur's Gate or Dungeons and Dragons aside from this mod that I had for Oblivion that added Viconia Devere as a companion in Oblivion. So I mean, that did teach me about the Underdark and some of the deities that the Drow have, which I mean, again, that's why I chose Drow as my first character. So
You're like, hey, I've heard about these guys.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess
Speaking of dragons, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. I also fell victim to the eShop sales. So I picked up the Dragon's Lair trilogy for $6.99. So I don't know how many of you have ever played Dragon's Lair, but it's a it's kind of a cult classic arcade game from the 80s.
I never knew they had a third one, honestly.
I didn't either.
It's Star something. It's a space. It's not Dirt the Daring.
Is it like Space Ghost or something?
I wish. I don't know what the name of it's Star something. I can't remember what exactly the name of the third game in the trilogy is. But oh my God, like with these games, it's a quick time event. You're watching a movie and then you have to react to prompts with legendary timing, because if you're a half second off, you will fail and die.
Are we
So-
saying Dragon's Lair is the original Dark Souls? Maybe.
Pretty, yeah, I guess.
Decision.
So I don't know how many times I died getting this, but I was able to beat the first game and then start the second game. Which the second game opens up and it's you with all of the kids that you've had with Daphne. I think it was like 10 or 11. And she's already been kidnapped. You're all sitting there eating breakfast, and your mother-in-law is screaming at you for her being kidnapped. And she kicks you out of the house to go rescue Daphne again. It's like so many questions there. Like, okay, she's already been kidnapped, and you're just sitting there eating breakfast, and your mother-in-law just happens to be living with you.
I mean, you deserve breakfast after the first adventure. No, that's just, I remember those games kind of. I think I had a friend who, like an older friend who had it on Laserdisc or something. Like it's how
Oh
they
my
first
God.
like released it to the
Yeah.
public. Like here, play on Laserdisc, like a controller or something.
Yeah, with a remote, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd never played it before, but I can only imagine just from the experience I've had just how much money.
Yeah, how
these
many
kids
quarters?
were
I was just
pumping
about to
into this
say
game.
people used to eat up people's quarters.
But I can just totally see like this huge crowd of kids standing around one person who's just completely kicking ass with it. But I mean, in all actuality, the first game really isn't that long, because I was able to beat it in a day. But still, I mean, it is a lot of fun. And like I said, that it's such a cult classic. I had to at least try it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Pattern and
Was-
memory is really kind of how you play that one.
Yeah.
Eric,
But sometimes they flip the scene, they mirror the scene, so you can't trust the memory with that scene, because sometimes it takes like 6 or 7 different prompts just to pass that scene. So, what were you saying, Andrew?
sorry to interrupt. You sent me down a rabbit hole because it was bugging me. Is it Time Traveler? Is that the third one?
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Because I was thinking, God, there's this other game that's awesome. Do you remember a cabinet arcade game that it couldn't have been real holograms? It probably had to be a trick projection through a screen or something. But do you remember there was like sort of not top down, but sort of like a 3/4 angle hologram time travel shooter game? Do you guys remember that in the arcade?
Sounds very,
It does
very
sound
familiar.
I was
not-
looking it up, and I think it's Time Traveler here, which also is by the creator of Dragon's Lair, Rick Dyer. So I think that might be the game you were talking
Just
about.
give me a
maybe.
second and I'll let.
No, it's no reason to derail the show. I just thought that was funny because I remember
Well, it's bugging
sink-
me too.
I would sink $20 of quarters into fucking Time Traveler back
believe
in the early 90s.
Oh, I see this
Space
here.
Ace. Space Ace. Is
Oh,
what it's
Space
called.
Ace. Oh, yeah. Actually, no, I remember that one too. Yeah, that was exactly like Dragon's Lair, but space themed instead of. Yeah.
That game is kind of, we have Space Ghost at home, though. I totally remember. I remember the art now. Yeah, Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, Time Gal. Interesting. I
And
didn't
it
know
only
some of these.
included the 2 Dragon's Lair games and Space Ace.
I do remember Time Traveler. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, that shit was great.
Starfield, I haven't played a ton other than to get pictures for the photo challenge that's now over. I did hop in a little bit to kind of continue on with the surveying the system that I was in. So I just really wanted to see some flora and fauna of that system. I'm blanking on the name. It's Zelanzi, I think is what it's called. It's Zelanzi, I think. is
Yeah,
what
that
the
sounds
system
right.
is.
I think there's a Zelansky or Zelaski. Yeah.
So,
Or Zelazny with a Z.
Zelazny, that's what it
Yeah.
is, yes. Thank you.
I think
So-
you're talking about Dan Aykroyd from Tommy Boy, aren't you? Zelensky? or something?
Probably. But then, yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda, that had been on my to finish list forever. And so I hopped into that again recently to finish the main quest. And I guess I really wasn't that far from the main quest. It's just like, it's these games, like, they seem to go on. Like, they're great, but after a while, if that's all you're playing, at least in my case, I get burnt out of playing the same thing all the time. So I took a break from it, but I did manage to hop in and finish the main story of Andromeda, and I still got all the DLC to do. So, but that's been great. And with Redfall, I mean, I think we mentioned it here, where I've been a regular participant on Sunday nights with the Redfall streams that Jess is also a part of. Not going to get into it too much, but what I did want to say is that it's been so much fun hopping in Sunday nights, staking vamps, causing mass explosions, and trying not to catch my tail on fire.
Trying.
Yeah, trying. That's the key word. It's just been something that I've looked forward to every week. It's been awesome being involved with that. So. I know you wanted to talk about it also.
Oh, it's a really fun game. Really, really fun game to play co-op with people. We've talked about it. I mean, we're coming up on a month, and like a month and a year. I'm sorry. In a month and a half, it'll have been a year that Redfall has been out. And interestingly, not as many updates as people expected. So I do think that they're saving it up for the one big update with the DLC that people expected, maybe another character or two. Getting that all out for kind of like Redfall 2.0 to see if that kicks it into gear. And people are like, oh, wait, it's good. It's good now.
It's always been fun.
Yeah, it's always been fun. And the truth is, I mean, we've had, as a co-op shooter with friends, it's always been good. Atmosphere-wise, art-wise, it's decent. You know, it's perfectly serviceable. It got a lot of crap because people expect more from Arcane. And you know, scoring sixes. Sixes aren't the worst score you can get. It's just not great, especially for a studio that usually does really good stuff. So yeah, I've been having fun with that, but I'm on the very final battle is where we're at. So we've talked about it. Been playing with friends since last summer. And this is my third full playthrough with friends. And this one finally on my character, because the way Redfall works, a quest only counts for one character. So you're doing the quest and your friends are joining you. So you got to replay the same quest over and over again, which is kind of a pain for some people. It's not a normal setup for a lot of online games. But I think in order to actually get you the story and stuff, that's just the decision that they made.
It's
So-
kind of like 76 in that way, right?
Yeah.
76 you can all accomplish, but when you're entering in instances, only one person can be the leader. But when you're doing non-instance quests, people can do them together at the same time, right?
And having all four characters participate has led to some really funny conversations, like between the characters. It's been really fun just hearing them interact with each other while you're, again, staking vamps. And
Yeah, that is
mass
something
chaos.
they did well, party banter for sure. But yeah, Redfall's been a lot of fun, and I'm actually excited to be wrapping it up a bit. I mean, we're still going to play some, but I'm happy to be wrapping up my adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But as far as Fallout 3 goes, aside from Operation Anchorage, just kind of going around doing random things. I visited the Republic of Dave for the first time because that's something else I'd never done. I've kind of been trying to go around finding the bobbleheads, and I'm up to 8 now, 8 or 9.
who'd you vote for?
I tried to get the other people to vote for themselves, but Dave still ended up winning.
Oh, you didn't stuff the ballot box or convince one of his wives to?
I tried. It didn't work. I went to the box and it just said that I couldn't interact with it. I think I'm getting some bugs or something because, again, with Tenpenny Tower, I could not do that quest. Like I couldn't find the ghouls. The ghouls had left. Everybody in the in Tenpenny Tower, of course, is obnoxious and annoying, and Tenpenny himself he never initiated anything with me. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Normally, once you go in, you hear the conversation, you get sent aside, and you talk to Chief Gustav there, just right inside. And Chief Gustav will be like, yeah, maybe you should go take care of those ghouls. And you can go into Warrington tunnels.
Yeah.
And maybe if you go to Warrington, you can continue the quest even without getting the prompt. But I'm not
Maybe.
sure if it let you
Oh.
shortcut it or not.
Yeah, it's weird. And I ended up having a bug with Operation
Is it
Anchorage,
Gustav?
which
Gustavo?
apparently Dawn also had, but we'll get into that later.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, that about does it for me.
Alrighty, sounds good. I didn't have a ton of game time other than, our quest we're about to get into here in just a second. Other than loading Shelter a few times, I'm up to 23 now, unemployed, perfectly trained youth just walking aimlessly around the vault because I'm still waiting on the E7 outfit to drop. So 23 useless souls wandering
Nice
around.
job if you get it. Like, you started this eugenics program almost. And now, people finish it after all that hard work, then they just kind of coast. They're just like, do whatever. It's amazing.
I just can't believe it's like such a priority to always. The first thing I do is always make sure I have all 3 questing teams out and about so that I can have a higher chance of bringing home that E7 outfit. But god damn, how long have I been playing this survival vault? It feels like a year. It's probably not a year yet.
It
You're
wouldn't
telling
surprise
us.
me,
I have
yeah.
no idea. But I can't believe it's taken this long. Still haven't seen it drop. On my phone, I would have had it 8 times over by now. Stupid Xbox game.
It's fun to play on the Xbox, though, isn't it?
It
I mean,
is. No, I do enjoy it. I don't even play on my phone much anymore. I'm just mainly on the Xbox there. Jerry posted earlier today, maybe yesterday it was, that Fallout 2 is free for Prime Gaming members. If you're interested in that, I went and downloaded myself a copy. And I noticed to see we had one already, but I had already purchased Tactics. I guess Tactics was on sale not too long, or within the last year or so. But so go grab yourself a copy of Fallout 2 because we will definitely be visiting that in a roundtable in the not too terribly distant future. I hope, right, Ray?
Right.
Ray's super excited, as you can tell. The roaring.
I mean, I
applause.
was ready to go after the first game, so
No,
but I am enjoying 3.
I like those old games, man. Old games are fun. All right. So quests. Let's get into it. What are we doing this week, Jess? We getting into the first batch of DLC there. Operation Anchorage. Is that what it's called?
Operation Anchorage is the first DLC we're doing. Yeah. Yeah. So we're all different levels going in, but as we know, you get the quest as soon as you exit the vault. You get a pop-up on your Pip-Boy, or, well, obviously on the corner of your screen, saying aiding the outcasts. So that is how you start this DLC. And that's what's interesting about the DLC and the Fallout games, of course, is that they are all available to start as soon as you load in. Some of them have level locks, but not these. So aiding the outcasts is the first quest we're going to do. And basically that says, I'm trying to remember the actual quest description. Is
So
it basic?
I did discover that because I had the problems with my new computer not playing the game,
Mhm.
I grabbed the Game Pass version of the Game of the Year, and it doesn't automatically activate the DLCs. They're all there, but when I went to play, Anchorage, I'm like, well, how come I'm not getting this stupid radio station?
Do you have to activate them on the main menu, or do you do it another
Yeah.
way?
No, on the main menu.
Okay.
I could see that the files were in the folder, but I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get the radio to pop up. So then I went in and looked in the settings and found that that none of the DLC were checked. So I went and checked them all, and then after a minute, they all just start popping up like they do when you leave the vault. So
That makes sense. So PSA for anybody playing the Game Pass version of the game. Did any of you all have that issue with this one, or were they all installed for you?
No, they were all good for me.
Okay. Yeah, so the actual quest text, I just pulled it up again. It says tune into the radio broadcast, and you check it out, and it says, this is Defender Moral. Any outcasts listening on this frequency report to Sector 7B, Bailey's Crossroads. High priority message. Backup is needed at our location. Any personnel listening on this frequency, please report at once. So basically, it's a cryptic, mysterious message to you, especially if you don't know who the outcasts are, yet, depending on when you listen to it. And so you have to head down to Bailey's Crossroads. Now, I hadn't been down there myself, so it was fun getting there because when I launched, I had just barely hit level 6. And I found, some of the wandering around, some people I don't have any trouble with, but there was a group of raiders close by Bailey's Crossroads entrance there that just massacred me. And I am playing on only normal. I had tried hard for a little bit, like I told Will. I wanted to be up there hard with him, but no, I backed down to normal. I will, you know what? Maybe after this, maybe now that this DLC is done, I'm ready to play on hard, very hard. But I just wasn't quite there yet because, like I said, energy weapons, and I didn't have any energy weapons. It was the ants. I was Ant Flambe after those, and I'm like, no,
man.
turning it down.
I don't blame you there.
But yeah, so they were pretty tough. But you go down and you find a door there into Bailey's Crossroads, I believe. And you kind of make your way through. And it was exciting because this was only my character's second time in the subway tunnels. Now, we did subway tunnels to get to Three Dog, and that was kind of it for my character because I've only gone as far as Three Dog in the main story. So going through, I don't have a ghoul mask or anything like that. So fighting a few ghouls, and you make your way through the tunnels to the outside, and you exit Bailey's Crossroad, and that's where you actually run into a bunch of characters in power armor. Now, I have met the people at the Citadel, so I was familiar with power armor and who the Brothers of Steel are, but I hadn't met any outcasts prior to this. So when you guys showed up at this location, did anything happen for you in particular? Like, did you have a conversation? Did you just jump into the action? How did it go for you?
The outcasts were taking on the super mutants there, so I helped the outcasts clear them out. That was basically it.
yeah.
That's what I thought. See, I had the same thing. I thought that there would be a conversation, or they'd be like, hey, civilian, jump in and help us, blah, blah. But no, you just get in there, and they're in the middle of fighting super mutants, and you fight with them, you fight through. A lot of mutants. It was kind of tough. I had to hide behind the big guys in power armor a little bit, but Wilbur, he's get tougher. But yeah, not the best, but we got some good shots on him. So we fight through the ruins there, and there's a lot of ruins. It's a cool area. And finally get to a place with a ramp down into a bit of a square, a area that's kind of cordoned off, being defended by these outcasts. And that's where you can talk to Defender Moral. And you find out Defender Moral is with a group of Brotherhood of Steel outcasts. And when he sees you and talks to you for a bit, he's very interested in your Pit Boy. And he says, you know what? We may have a proposition for you. Go in, and he radios down to Protector McGraw, who is the leader of this group of outcasts, and says that he's sending someone down that you want to talk to. So then, of course, you can turn and walk away because it sounds like a trap, or you can play along because you want to do the DLC. So yeah, you enter on. There's an elevator that you can go down. When you go down, you end up in kind of a vault-like area. It's very much a Brotherhood of Steel bunker. Anyone who's been in them, it reminds me of kind of the Hidden Valley bunker in New Vegas, of course, but with the same kit. This one's a little bit brighter with a yellow floor. I thought that was kind of an interesting aesthetic. And when you're going in and you're following the Defender, is it Defender Moral who leads you down there, or is it this other guy, like Siskel or something? Do you remember?
Yeah, Moral drops you in the first room.
Okay.
With his commander.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think he does come
Defender
back and
Sibley.
leads you to the pod, right?
Not Siskel, it's Sibley there. So you meet Sibley, and you're going with Sibley to meet the commander, who is Protector McGraw, like I was just saying. So yeah, Yeah, and you get a big talk with him, and you find out that about the simulation, which is this Operation Anchorage simulation. I don't think they call it that. I think they just call it a battle simulation. There is a vault, a protected room they want to get into, and they feel the only way to get past the safeguards they figured out is if someone completes or finishes the simulation to gain access. And you need to have some kind of computer interface to do so, and a Pip-Boy, conveniently, is perfect.
There's some kind of comment that it's like, try not to get this one killed this time, right? She's
Yeah.
like, that one wasn't my fault.
Yeah, he takes you back, and so you meet Specialist Olin, is her name, and she's pretty brusque and rude at first. Yeah, I think is it Sibley who walks you back and not McGraw? That's Sibley guy, because he's not the greatest. So he is another defender like Moral, and
he's not the greatest.
I'm trying to be tactful. He's coarse and he's rude and he doesn't think he should be there. And he thinks the whole idea is stupid.
Bag, it's fine.
Yes, he is. He is a weasel. And so you talk to Specialist Olin, and she's brusque, but you can
rating here. Good job.
you can kind of ask her why she's being quite so harsh, and then she apologizes and will tell you about the simulation and what they think you're going to face and what's going to happen. And yeah, you get the idea that you're not the first person they've had do this, which, can we get to the Easter egg right now?
Gary?
Yeah. If you've explored in one of the locked rooms, there's a Gary there from Vault 108. So the previous person they had try this was a Gary.
I missed him. I can't believe I missed that Gary there.
And that Gary is a vital component to the best outcome for Operation Anchorage.
Oh, really? A vital component?
A vital component.
That's
so
important.
So the thing about the DLC is that you're in a simulation. So when you come out, you lose all of the stuff that you get in the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Unless
the gun sneaking thing. Okay, go on.
Unless you employ Gary to become a vessel. So in a Lee inspired demonstration here. I'm going to post a picture in the Discord.
Oh, excellent. So we're getting a Discord pic of how to do this manipulation.
Oh my God.
So we are seeing you lift and carry Gary into the pod.
Yeah, so you drag Gary from the other room into the pod room, and you lay him over the back of the chair in the simulation pod.
He looks very comfortable.
Yeah.
Wait, is he in there the whole time you're in there?
Yeah, so he's in there now, and you climb in. And when you climb in, if you have him positioned correctly, you end up inside Gary's torso.
You end up sitting on Gary's face.
And
Good Lord, Ray.
And so that this is the beginning of a very successful relationship with Gary.
Thank you, Gary. So do you want to talk about the rest of it now? Or do you want to talk about the rest when we get to that point?
No, I'll talk about it, the rest of it. There's kind of a midpoint that I don't have a picture of. So we'll talk about that, and then
container.
I've got one.
So after you talk to Specialist Olin and you learn about the simulation, you have to get into this pod, which may or may not have Gary draped over the back of the chair when it's opened. And you have to put on a neural interface suit, which is a very comfy looking getup with a bunch of nodes and and attachment points. You get in there, you get all skin tight your neural interface thing. You enter the simulation pod, and it's kind of like in Fallout 4 doing the whole Kellogg memory thing. It closes around you, and you get the screen fade to white. And in this case, you find yourself in Anchorage, Alaska. Well, actually, in the mountains outside of Anchorage. And that completes the first mission, which is aiding the outcasts. And you start the Guns of Anchorage. So let's see. From there, anyone have anything else they want to add about how they got to the outcasts, how they dealt with them before this part? This is really just the intro, but I do feel like it can take a good half hour or more, depending on how you play it.
I will say that the outcasts are lucky I didn't shoot them for a lot of the rude comments they made the entire time you're there. But no, I mean, other than that, yeah, I mean, it's this is, I think, only the second time I've gone through Operation Anchorage, and it was a lot smoother this time because I had a little bit more of an understanding of what I'm doing.
Remind me what the reason was they were cast out of the Brotherhood?
Disagreements, kind of foundational. So the Brotherhood outcasts, foundational disagreements with the Lions Brotherhood and the way that they're running things. I don't remember the exact catalyst moment. I haven't had those conversations again this playthrough. But essentially, Lions is in favor of helping, kind of subverting the Brotherhood's primary mission of, gathering and storing technology to protect humanity from technology. And he wants to focus more on helping people locally. They're still, they're still gaining and preserving technology, but with an emphasis on in order to help defend the people of the capital wasteland. So they're holding off the super mutants. They're specifically doing things to keep some travel routes, trade routes available for people, Rivet City and Underworld and Megaton, up to Canterbury Commons, kind of keep the roads clear as much as they can and hold back the super mutants from completely washing over the wasteland, which they may have done if it wasn't for the Brotherhood. So yeah, that's the outcasts. The outcasts are like, no, screw those guys. We just want our cool toys. And so they kind of split off.
And I thought it was at least kind of cool, like when you talked about how when we first meet them, they're interested in our Pip-Boy. One of the comments, the one I did, is like, yeah, it's a Pip-Boy, and before you ask, you can't have it, because that's what I was expecting out of the brother.
I chose that one too. I chose that one too.
But they seemed cool about it. I mean, I guess later you learn it's because you possibly might die, but they go, oh no, don't worry about it. You'll definitely get to keep it. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, Wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, but yeah, they just felt Lions was too altruistic, and they're supposed to preserve technology, as preserve and safeguard technology. So there are more outcasts. These aren't the only group. This is just one part of that faction. Because let's be honest, the outcasts aren't necessarily a Brotherhood faction. They were splitters. Much like in Life of Brian, they were splitters, and then the splitters also split, and so there are a couple of groups there. So Guns of Anchorage, you meet your buddy who you're going to play with throughout the whole thing. I believe it's Sergeant Benjamin Montgomery. And you talk to him, and you're just basically thrust right into the action. And he's like, okay, soldier, we're going in here, and we need to take out these 3 artillery guns that have been bombarding our troops and making it so we cannot, actually get into Anchorage and take out the Chinese position. This installation was previously an American installation that had been overrun by the Chinese already. And so there's a lot of that. As you go through, you're going to find holotapes and stuff like that from the American defenders and get a little bit of the history there. I do have to say, at this point, if you haven't played it, this is your first time, you're in for a bit of a shock because it does play more like a classic shooter campaign. The way your health works is a little different. Like, it's all still the Fallout system, but you're not using stim packs. You're replenishing health from health containers along the way, and you're finding kind of bullet and ammo caches. The only guns you have, because you lose all your equipment going in because of simulation, the only guns you have are either what you're given as a loadout or what you pick up from a few locations strewn about. So it's really fun. I think of it as like a trench run. You're going down these corridors, you're finding doors, you're sneaking through and fighting a lot of the Chinese. And they say you can do it, stealthy or go in loud. I don't know if some of you guys, well, Ray especially, might have taken a more stealthy approach, but I found it was kind of hard to be stealthy in this one. Wilbur has a stealth of like 20. He wasn't sneaking up on anybody unless they were back turned, and the game didn't want them to see you.
I love
Yeah.
that Gauss rifle.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get a sniper rifle right off the bat. And so I did spend a lot of time, shooting soldiers across the canyon.
That's what I did too.
And I also had bloody mess going, so having all of those bodies explode was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great sniper rifle. I found myself using it quite a bit. Like I focused on the 10 millimeter, but that sniper rifle saved my butt a lot.
Yeah, me too. And like I mentioned, I had just get level 12, so I got to my sniper perk and using it. And I was wondering, is this sniper rifle like it scopes in? Like that scope is in the game. That's not just a mod I have, right? That
Right. Yeah.
zooms it in. Okay, I didn't know if I was just wondering because it was actually pretty accurate through the scope. I felt.
Yeah, the
Whereas,
scope was great.
Yeah,
shooting normally is not.
Right.
Even taking out turrets as you go through, you'll find a few places where there are turrets inside of
Yeah, so
concrete
you shoot through
bunkers.
little tiny windows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it can be kind of hard. The one thing about the scope is you don't see when it turns orange, the same way as you do with other weapons. When your reticle, when your the indicator
Yes.
would turn orange.
When it-
Because yes, I did turn on the center indicator for this. Kind of needed it, but the Chinese are aggressive. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed scaling the cliffs, going across the pipes, finding. I found one of the early rooms. Now I did not. There is a secondary objective while you go through this of getting all the intel. You'll find briefcases with intel as you go through. And you think it's important, and it is. If you get all 10, you do get a small reward, which Ray can mention. But I only got 8 of them this time. I was not paying attention in the first area, and I think I missed 1 or 2 in the first area because I think I only got 2 in the first area. Then I got all of them in the next, but ended up with 8.
I was streaming this, and somebody in my stream was nice enough to point that out to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even paid attention to that.
So Ray, did you get all 10?
Yeah.
I got 8.
Yeah.
I
I
missed
got
a
8
couple.
also. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was about to say, of course.
But one thing I was thinking of when I was playing through this was it kind of reminded me of playing GoldenEye back in the day.
Mhm.
Fucking
really
really I can't
gave me
believe you
those
just
kind
said
of
that
vibes.
because
Yeah.
I came out, popped around the corner. I was like, oh shit! I think this exact scene was used in Golden. Like it was the snowy mountains coming across, and I was sneaking around a pipe or something. It was seriously like deja vu with GoldenEye.
And those
What's in-
bunkers that
I
you
can't
can-
believe you said that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, every good Bond movie or shooter of that type has to have a winter scene. Ski slopes or snowmobiles, a bunch of commies on the back of them. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if you do manage to collect all 10 of the suitcases, then you get the covert ops perk,
Mhm.
which gives you +3 to science, small guns, and lockpick.
Which is a great little
Been
boost.
nice.
Yeah.
9
Yeah.
free skill points plus the accomplishment of actually, job well done. So
Okay,
none of the rest
so-
of us did besides Ray.
I didn't even realize it was a thing until halfway through. Same as, well, I had run across a couple of American soldiers, so I was just like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" And just like didn't really pay any mind to them. Well,
You didn't rescue them?
one of the
You left them there?
one of the stations, like about until halfway through, it was just like you put your cursor over them. It says American soldiers. I'm just like, well, why are you kneeling down? What are you doing?
Why are you on your knees in front of the Chinese officer?
No, everyone was dead. He's just kneeling there still, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
"What, are
I
you
think I know which one you're
praying?
talking
What
about,
what
yeah.
are you doing?" It's like I don't know what he's doing. It's like I thought it was bugged or something. I didn't even press the button on him, so I was just like, "Okay, all right, see you later." So I didn't actually rescue him, but like his captor is long gone, and like he could have just stood up and walked away. But
You don't see his hands tied behind his back, but the inference with their position is that they are bound. They are
Yeah.
bound to the ground, hands tied behind their
Yeah.
back. Even though they're just on their knees
I
and
didn't see
not actually
any.
bound.
I didn't see any rope. I don't know.
The rope is
Yeah.
implied. It's a simulation.
So you
It
need to
is a
make sure that you've
simulation.
gotten the 4 intel briefcases that are in this Guns of Anchorage quest. before you leave, because this is the only area you can't get back to
Right.
later on in the game.
Yeah, which is a hard point, that's why I didn't, like I said, I only got 2 here. So
yeah, if you don't get all 4 here, then just forget about it.
you do the cliffs and you get into a cool cave outpost. A lot of Chinese still there working your way through. There are some times when you get a little bit low on ammo, you might have to, start switching up to other weapons depending upon what you're using.
Yeah.
But I was usually fine with the 10mm and the sniper rifle. Occasionally I went backwards to heal my health. Unless, oh God, this is where Ray has another. Drop some knowledge on us, Ray. Drop it.
Ray. What'd you do?
Well, and that's a very, cogent point there, because you do drop all of your ammo. So when you get to one of these refill machines, if you drop all your ammo, and then the refill machine will refill all your ammo, and then you drop that ammo, and the refill machine refills your ammo, and then you drop all that ammo, and you keep doing it until you've got a sufficient amount to be able to not have to think about
I didn't even think to do that.
stopping at the machines to get your ammo.
Yeah.
You pick
Brilliant.
it
Good
all
trick.
back up. And at some point that plays into, my final thing. So I'll touch on
Yeah.
that later.
It's
But
a really good tactic if you
Yeah.
want to stock up. If you like one weapon above all the others, you love your 10mm submachine gun, or you really just want to use a sniper rifle, you got to
Yeah.
do that tactic.
yeah. And because you don't want to have to worry about whether or not you're going to have enough ammo.
Yeah,
So-
I just kept going all the way back. I'd kill 2 people. It's like, all right, back to the ammo
And
thing,
that's
all the
basically
way
what I
back.
did. Yep.
I don't really play too many of the like arena shooter type games. Is this generally how it's set up, where there's like a location you go to restock?
Yeah.
Is it like
Pills here. Yeah, basically. A lot of them have, health things you click on that as your health goes down your screen, you get the red around the edges and you're almost dead. Some of them have auto recovery where you just have to hide, get
I
behind
see.
cover stuff for a
Yeah,
bit and
duh.
it'll auto regen. Others have a restock section, and the majority of them have ammo conservation of some kind where you hit like an ammo depot and you refill whatever you're using.
Now, I found that it wouldn't. See, I picked the big guns build loadout, whatever you say.
That's in the next area, but go on.
Oh, is it? Sorry. I can wait.
No, okay. Well, let me just wrap this area up then. So as you're going through the outpost with Sergeant, you find out that the big reason you're here is because of, once again, not only these large guns, but the Chimera tanks that the Chinese are using. And there's this really cool scene where you enter this one big room, this huge cavern, and you see the Chimera tanks scrolling around in the distance. It's pretty sick, because these are one of the few times you actually see moving vehicles like that. Besides, vertibirds in the Fallout games, you don't see them that often. So it's I felt it was pretty impactful.
Yeah.
But
And those artillery rams or whatever, they're going off all the time up, above ground while you're below
They
in a little
are.
bunker and stuff. And when you're trying to aim with the sniper and stuff, it shakes around and messes and stuff. I
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on with all that.
for a minute, right, you're getting
bombing.
all the shaking and noise and stuff. And at one point, Montgomery says, "Oh, geez, maybe they're running lower on ammo on these large artillery rounds. Maybe we don't need to be here." And then you keep going through, and no, you find more and more and more. And he's
Yeah,
got a
you get
fun
a
line of,
nose
"Yeah, tell me I'm wrong." Well, then the last room before you get out to actually fight the guns, you run into a new enemy that you haven't met before, and that is the Crimson Dragoon. So it's really funny. You go into the second to last room, and if you're watching closely, it's like a couple gulpers and trees dropping on you. You see like just some dropping in the background. You're like, what was that?
No.
And these are the Chinese stealth units, Crimson Dragoons, and they're wearing the which many of us know and love, the Chinese stealth suit.
I completely forgot until that was even in Fallout 3. The
Yeah.
Chinese
So-
stealth suit.
Where it was first designed, and a lot of people's favorite armor. Like that's one reason why people beeline to this: the Gauss rifle, like we were talking about, and the Chinese stealth suit. So it looks just like in Fallout 76, or very similar, at least same design. Anyway, you get out there, you have to blow up the artillery, which you do by placing a charge on them and running away. You have 20 seconds. It says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" You'll have 20 seconds to get out of range. So that's good. If you're doing this, be sure to save. Okay, now show of hands, because that always works on an audio podcast. How many people blew themselves up at least once?
Me.
Yeah, I did for sure.
Okay,
Couple of times.
everybody.
Absolutely.
I thought I'd be okay inside the concrete bunker.
Same.
Yep.
I ran in the
Yeah,
bunker.
that's exactly what
I'm
happened
good
to me.
here.
I was in the next
Yep.
bunker
Nope.
and got blown to hell.
Yep.
I thought I was so smart. I actually went ahead on the trail and killed the Inferno unit. So I'm like, haha, then nobody stopped me from running around. And then I started up and I ran around to watch on the ridge. And no, I was still too close.
It's
I
just-
just saw my body, a beautiful view of my body flying through the air.
It's so extra frustrating because you can't run. You know?
Right.
No,
It's
you
like-
can't run.
Uh-huh.
There is a
Yes.
satisfaction
Let
in
me
clicking in the
quick-
stick.
They're
Yeah,
like,
let me quickly walk out of
plant the
range.
bomb and get away. You're like, I'm trying.
You're like mall walking. You're like doing the
Fast
6 a.m.
walk.
mall walk to get away. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so you got 3 of these you got to take out. And it is fun. It's a blast. And plenty, you meet the
blast,
Inferno
she
unit for the
says,
first
you
time.
guys.
Yep.
You met the Crimson Dragoon coming in. So you see all these different Chinese units and different tactics for each. And as soon as you take out the 3rd artillery tank, you may think, oh, I can keep looking for intel now. But no, you can't keep looking for intel because the 3rd artillery, when you blow it up, you are fizzled and you finish this quest, get an achievement. If you're doing that, you finish this quest and you go into the next, which is paving the way. So we just finished Guns of Anchorage and you go into paving the way and meet General Chase. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. And you've got a couple things to do with. You listen to Chase's briefing about what's going on, and he walks you over to a big old tactical map and says, over here's where the, this is the Chimera tank manufacturing and supply depot. There
Yeah.
are fuel tanks. And over here, there's a listening post, and it's filled with a bunch of reds. And, back here is this crazy pulse field, which is why we can't get at their headquarters and attack them. And meanwhile, they're also shelling the whole thing. And by taking out the artillery, you've opened up so you have more. You have more access to this area that before would have been too dangerous to cross into. But you also learn about a strike team. You get a promotion, all that. Does anyone else want to kind of take over here and kind of talk about how they approach this quest?
Ray,
Yeah,
what
so
did you get into
the first
there?
thing that I did was so there's a couple of things that you want to do at this point. So one of the important things about this DLC and doing it at a very low level. So the equipment in the simulation does not degrade.
Yeah, it never degrades. I love
So
it.
Yeah.
So
Which
it
is
never
very
wears
nice,
out.
yeah.
You might pick up 3 assault rifles thinking, oh, I can repair, but you can't repair it because you don't need to.
Right. And so that's why Gary is so important.
Ooh, Gary.
Because Gary's going to allow you to take everything that you've gotten in this simulation into the real world.
Drop it on his dead body.
Yep.
Gary
I would
can make
like to
James
take
real.
that stealth suit back. But
Yeah. So you
He's your metaphysical mule to the real world.
so once you've done the briefing and then you talk to the other clown in there that gives you your instructions and the tokens if you want to take a strike team with you,
Yeah.
which if you can do without, you'll actually get more XP because they are XP stealers.
Oh, wait, did you do this without a strike team to get more XP? I really enjoy the strike
Yes.
team mechanic. Okay.
Yeah, I did too. But
But you still have to talk to the guy, get your tokens, then you can just ignore the terminal with the strike team.
it was. Isn't there even an option though? It's like, oh, who needs a strike team? I can go do it on my own. It wasn't.
Yeah,
something like that?
I think you
Yeah.
can tell him that. Dean Morgan or Lieutenant Morgan, whatever his name is. Yeah.
But what you do want to do is you want to go get your weapon loadout. So you choose your weapon loadout. And in this case, if you're doing the Gary, then you want them all.
Can you get them
Oh,
all? I
gosh.
thought you could only get 2.
So you take the first one, and then you go talk to the quartermaster. You want to save before you do because you need to pass a speech check with him,
Yeah.
so that you
Mhm.
get the Gauss rifle. And then you drop all of that on the ground. You go back to the HQ tent. You pick the next, group of weapons. Back to the quartermaster. He gives them to you. You drop them on the ground. You go back to the HQ tent, get the sniper set. Back to the quartermaster, drop it on the ground.
So you drop
And then
everything
you
on the
get the
ground.
heavy weapons. Go back to the quartermaster. He gives you that, and then you pick up everything that you had dropped on the ground. And so now you've got all of the weapons.
So even though he tells you can only switch your loadout once, that's because you currently have one on you. If you've dropped those weapons, he'll
Yeah,
just keep
good.
giving them to you.
Yeah, because because when you go back to talk to him, he'll tell you that he's taking back everything that he had already given you. But if you drop it on the ground, he can't take it back. And so then you get to
No
collect
takebacks.
all the different weapons without losing anything. So, and then there's also another ammunition dump here. So if you don't already have thousands of rounds of ammunition for each of the weapons, you can go ahead and re-up.
The weapons weightless here as well.
They're very light, if anything.
Yeah.
So when I came out with all of the with everything that I've got, all of the ammo, all of the equipment and everything, I was not over encumbered.
So you went with the everything bagel build, and Andrew, you said you went with the big guns build.
I did, but I found a weird phenomenon. Within the big guns loadout, they give you a missile launcher and I think a 10 mil automatic machine gun, something like
Mhm.
that. Which
Yeah, I think we get the
I thought
10
was
millimeter
strange.
regardless, along with
whichever build you get.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, some of them you get a 10 millimeter pistol. This one you get a 10 millimeter submachine gun.
Oh.
If you picked up a loose one though, if you picked up one, which you can, I think you can have it as a bonus and keep it. Yeah.
See, but I was using some assault rifle, I think. But when I would go to that little case thing to replenish the ammunition, I would fire my missile, then go restock, but it would fill up the assault rifle, but not my missiles.
Yeah, so missiles and the Gauss rifle, you have to pick up the loose leaf ammo.
Yeah, the electron charge.
Unfortunately,
they're on the side.
I saw them sitting there, and I would pick those up too. But I was just wondering why.
Because
they're ammunition. What? But just why not?
I know
make
it's
that
kind
work?
of bizarre, but
that's so strange.
Yeah, it really should just count as ammo. It really should. And that bothers me too, especially when I didn't get the Gauss rifle. And in the first area, going through like the previous one, I picked up every little microfusion cell, and then it just out of your inventory disappears.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're Ray, but we'll get to that when we get to the end. But yeah, I did not love that. In fact, you have to get the missiles. You have a finite number of missiles. And I guess they're like, for the most powerful weapons, you have a finite number you can use. There's no way to multiply those, is that right?
No.
Okay.
How about flamer fuel? I'd love to go back a save if I can somehow exploit flamer fuel infinite.
Yeah, because
supply.
you don't get to pick up any flamers. So they don't have any fuel to.
Yeah, they don't have an Inferno build as an option, I don't believe.
We're not there
I
yet,
mean,
but there are 2 tanks in the treasure room at the end.
Yeah, the treasure room at the end has a bunch of other stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But
there's no way to exploit that into my.
We've got the everything bagel build. We've got the big guns build. And did that work okay for you, Andrew? Or did you mostly just use the assault rifle?
No, because I would, let's see, Ray's drop everything thing wouldn't work in this case.
Right,
Would
not
it?
for the
If I
missiles.
drop the missiles, 3 more aren't going to just appear on the table there, right?
Right.
But you've had, you have plenty of opportunity to pick up missiles along the way.
Yeah.
But I'm
Um,
such a bad shot. I need 3 for every 1 target. Is the issue?
I was like that with grenades sometimes. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I used a lot of grenades.
Oh, I always VATS with grenades in this game.
It does help.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know where they're going to bounce, but it does help. So, but you ended up using the assault rifle mostly then, Andrew, when you
Yeah, I
couldn't.
had to use the assault rifle most of the time. I just didn't have enough missiles on.
Did you get a second loadout build to get more guns or no?
No, I just went with the big. See, I didn't really understand the mechanics of what was happening until it's one of those things where you're stumbling through. This is the first time I've ever done this. I don't know what the hell is that guy. Who's he? What's it talking about? That computer? What? I don't know. Okay, here we go. Yeah.
I totally get that. And by the time you get it worked out, you spend 3-4 hours
Yeah,
and you're just
you're-
about done.
You're halfway.
I mean,
through
that's
a
how it was my
simulation.
first playthrough of this for sure.
So, how
And,
about you, Eric? What build do you like?
I chose close range, so I had the combat shotgun along with the Gauss rifle. So I had my Gauss rifle for the long range, and then I had the combat shotgun. So yeah, that
And a
that-
trench knife.
yeah, that was a little challenging, especially when you got snipers in certain areas. But I mean, the Gauss rifle did kind of make a decent substitution for a sniper rifle.
As Ray mentioned earlier, the Gauss rifle is only available with a speech check, which I
I
did
did
not
pass
pass.
that.
So I did not have any of these fancy people.
And I
items.
hope you
Gotta-
were able to
gotta
pass
save
the speech
scum that
check at the
shit.
end. But I think you were there for this. I did encounter a little bit of a very minor bug. I think it was at the listening post.
Mhm.
So you go through and you clear everybody out, which I thought I did, and the quest wasn't completing for me. So I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Turns out that in the building there were still a couple of Chinese that weren't hostile.
Yeah.
So I had to
Yeah,
go back.
the dragoons.
Or
had to
the,
go-
the, or
well,
the
no, they
technicians.
were
Dragoons
they were
or technicians,
technicians.
both. Yeah.
They were
Okay.
working at a console, so I had to go back and just basically murder them.
Yeah, I had one that was hiding behind a bunch of barrels at the corner of a hallway, and I walked right past them, and they didn't, shoot me. So,
So-
fortunately, I saw the red pip and
That
went
helps.
back and
Yeah.
saw the shimmering in the corner.
The
And
red
just
doesn't
shot
show
'em.
up until too late sometimes, though. There are a few ambush sites there. So the
Mhm.
close range with the Gauss was pretty good. Will, what did you use for a build loadout?
Oh, well, it was like obvious for me because, I was basically assigned sniper. So like, okay,
Mhm.
sniper,
Yep.
And
And that worked well for you because you get a 10 millimeter and a silenced 10 millimeter and a sniper rifle.
yeah, I didn't even use a 10 millimeter or anything. I basically only used a sniper rifle.
Really? You had enough ammo with that to do
Wow.
that? Because you get
Yeah.
19 bullets. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, only 19. I guess, I don't know. I mean, they had to. I'm trying to remember with the listening post if there were many refill stations or not.
There are
Yeah,
But-
there's a
some.
lot of
Yeah.
refill all the way through.
Yeah, I never really struggled with it though. Anyways, I think the lowest I got down to like 4 rounds, out of the 19.
I feel like you could turn around and refill if you had to, too.
And-
Also, strike team. I mean, depending on how you set up your strike team.
Yeah. Well, actually, I told my strike team to stay behind a lot, even though they don't listen well.
They don't
but-
listen well.
Yeah, but I think my build or whatever came into its own sort of this week, this playthrough. Like, I was able to put point. I leveled up twice. I told you I got to level 12 on the way to the Bailey station or Bailey Crossing, whatever. Well, I leveled up 2 more times during the Operation Alaska, I guess I was able to put enough points and everything to I suddenly became very powerful with the sniper rifle. I had the sniper, which gave me the increased headshots, and then I would put a bunch of points. Like I have my small guns almost maxed out, and a sneak and everything. And it was really like I was one-shotting most of them. So with that sniper rifle.
Nice.
So
Oh yeah,
awesome.
me too. So that the build I went for was the sniper build as well. Like I said in the first year, I found the sniper rifle saved my butt a bit, and it packs a punch. It was pretty powerful.
Yes.
So I said I'm gonna stick with this, even though I'm not usually a sniper build. And I was scoping and sniping a lot, and yeah, it definitely worked. I did find though that I was picking up every grenade I could, because there are a lot of places where they're up high, they're behind sandbags, there are places that are hard to get, and the best way to reach them is to maybe VATS and throw a grenade, or
Bounce a
maybe
grenade
try
back
to
there.
toss up a couple without. Yeah, exactly. And it can really clear a nest, or those concrete bunkers. It clears really well on the inside.
Yeah,
So
I actually nailed the turrets that had the skinny windows. I actually threw
Yeah.
a grenade inside one of those skinny windows and got both of the
Awesome.
turrets. It was awesome.
Nice.
That's a good tough aim there.
It was totally an accident, like I was aiming for something else. I find the grenade mechanics infuriating. I didn't even think to try it in VATS. Can you do grenades VATS in the more modern games? Okay.
Not in the
No,
modern
not in
ones,
modern.
no.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think to try VATS with a grenade. I think it's really, maybe that's why it's still set out. That's the difference, because you can't have your rifle mounted and have a grenade in your
You gotta
pocket.
swap
at the
it,
same
swap out.
time.
Yeah,
missed that. Yeah.
I put it on my quick wheel, up for grenades,
Yeah.
right for one, left for the other.
Yeah, I've got my knife, my big gun, and my small gun, and my stem pack on all my D-pad directions. You can do the diagonals, but I'm never good enough on the D-pad to hit
Yeah,
those
I never thought about
diagonals.
Yeah, that's for clothing options if you want to switch your little charisma outfit or something.
Yeah.
I usually stick melee weapons in the corners, so if I hit them by accident, at least I got something in my hand, and I'm not just barefisted going, "Hey."
Burning
Yeah.
stem packs accidentally.
It's dangerous. But I found the strike team was pretty good. The Mr. Gutsy was not so effective. So at first I'm like, oh, I'm going to use a Mr. Gutsy. That'll be awesome, because we all know they have armor penetration in the later games, and they're tough as heck.
Yeah.
And then he did Grenadier and or is it Grenadier, Grenadier, Grenader?
Grenadier.
I would have thought Grenadier, yeah.
Okay. Grenadier. Yeah,
Grenadier.
I don't want to say that. Grenadier and Serp.
Yeah.
But so I had
Actually,
the
that's a lie. I
the
hate Grenadier.
Grenadier, and he was actually my most effective throughout this. So he was pretty good. The Gutsy went down really fast, and I ended up swiping out for Sniper. So I kind of had all three. You know what I mean? I had all three specialists, and they were a little bit buggy in this. I did find sometimes you go through a door, only two would come with you, even though outside you had all three. Everybody was good to go. Nobody died on you. And you go through a door, you only got two that came with you. Or, you reloaded and one was dead. I felt so bad because they're having these conversations. And I think you know what I'm talking about, Andrew, where they're talk about, hey, when you go back home, this and that. And these classic wartime conversations you see in the movies. And then by the end of the mission, trench run, all three of them are dead. They're they're just that back at the train. They were having all these talks about home. And now 20 minutes later,
God,
they're all dead. And half of them phased out of existence instead of being killed.
Okay, now we've already revealed that this is a simulation, right? That this is
right. Mm-hmm.
So if the people die in the simulation, do they die in real life? Are the people in the simulation based on real life people, or do the
You're
people
the only
in real life?
person.
That's actually one thing I was wondering about this whole thing, is how much of this is an actual documentation of the events, and how much of it is U.S. propaganda?
There is a lore explanation to that in the bunker as well. So to get into that, actually, so General Chase is the guy giving you all the directions and soldier this, soldier that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the programmer of this, the specialist who actually programmed it, was named Chase. He was not in any way a general.
How dare he?
But he was a ranking guy sent to help program the simulation and help prepare the troops and get strategic data.
But this is not Avatar, where if I kill the general in this simulation, he's not going to die in real life.
They're all they're all computer characters. You would, but you're the only real person in this simulation.
Wait. I would die in real life if I
well,
got killed in the simulation?
The
That's
game
what
says
they
you would.
said.
Yes.
Those motherfuckers.
But it's not true.
Yeah. So that's what happens there. But yeah, so Chase programmed it, and he had a bit of a problem with it. It actually kind of discusses video game addiction, where he was running it, and even after it was done, he kept getting more volunteers coming in, making more people run it. He would spend like hours in there himself, and so it kind of delves lore-wise into the whole video game addiction aspect of some of these shooters. And it's funny because they also joke about how is the simulation even real anymore? Like some of these things that I'm hearing he's putting in there don't seem very accurate. So there's definitely some deviation from the actual events of Operation Anchorage by the time he's done for the whole video gaming aspect.
So
So it is all BS.
it being a simulation, it's odd then that they put in the soldiers missing their families, or like, when I get home, I'm gonna, kiss dear Susie on the.
All part of the realism. Yeah.
Like,
But so
I know
on
it's a
this section,
simulation, you guys.
so we've talked about our builds and our squads and all that. So you have to go take out the supply depot of the Chimera, go on the listening post, and then go to the final area. So I did it. I did Chimera supply, then listening post, and then final area. Did everybody else kind of do that too? Like any fun things happen along the way for any of you?
No, it took me forever to
If you
figure
do
out the gas tank thing, where to put them on the.
Take you a little bit to figure it out.
Oh my god, that took me like 15 minutes. I was like, where the fuck is the fucking terminal? It's like on the exact portal on the circle. No, it took
And
me
when
way
you
too
go through
long.
the ice camp, you get to see the snowmen.
Yeah, that was fun.
I stopped way too long there for a little photo session. It's
I think
You
I
like
took
that?
a-
You get the one in combat armor, the one with the hat. Yeah.
nice.
Yes, we all took pictures of that.
And of course, there's that little scene where they of the hero. It's like, all right, get in your hero
The
pose.
newspaper,
Yeah,
yeah.
for that they have the statue up. It's,
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I love that idea that they're actually kind of recreating that historical moment with some guy from the press there. That happens after you finish your first objective, is when you run into that guy
yeah.
on the second load. So I found the most difficult part for me was going to, I believe it's the listening post. After you clean out the mining town, not the one on the left, the supply, you do the ice village and the ice camp, then the supply depot. On the right, you do a small mining town and then the listening post. But in between, there is a sniper ambush spot that if you do talk to Lieutenant Morgan, he mentions there's a great place for an ambush. Well, he ain't kidding, because you got Crimson Dragoon there, all hidden, cloaked, barely shimmering. They're tough to see. And they only show up when you get about halfway through or more. One shows up, and then you keep going, another shows up. They kind of only pop in one at a time just to hurt you more and more and more, because you don't have stim packs here.
I think
You
I
know,
died there
by the
at least
third one,
once. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I think I might have died twice.
Is that the spot where there's also someone with a missile launcher up on the right hand
Yeah,
side?
that's
Yep.
the
Yep.
mining town. That fucked
Yeah.
me
Yeah, that's
up
right before you
bad.
get there. Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah.
That 4 or 5 times I had to reload at that spot. Will that guy
Yeah.
pissed me off?
Yeah, because I did too. That's where I got to explore, I guess, different strike teams to see what would work best. And then eventually
Yeah.
what would work best is I just got all stealthy again, tried to tell them all to wait.
Snipe.
And I just went in, snipe them all out. And it's like, okay, now come on,
I
guys.
picked the sentry bot once, but I didn't ever see him pop up. Where was
Really?
he supposed to pop up if you did? Like,
He should have been
like
out there with the whole
robots?
squad, I would think, but
Yeah.
I never did Sentry Bot.
I tried it
Yeah, I
once,
didn't
and he
either.
popped up right where
Oh, you
all the
did
other
see him?
people
Damn,
do.
maybe I'll reload and
Yeah.
try just because I just wanted to see what he looked like.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So I by the second or third objective, I was sending the strike team in, just letting them do their thing. And really only Benjamin Montgomery would stick with me, maybe one of the others. The other two would separate, and they'd still be alive, but they'd just be kind of wandering. And I'd be like, okay, doing my own thing. And like I said, then they'd phase out of existence if I went too far. It was kind of odd. But,
Ray said they're.
But I found being aggressive worked. And in that place with the ambush I'm talking about, I think I actually only died once, because after that I started doing a refill. So I'd take one out, I'd go back to the mining town, hit the health jug, go back out, kill another, go back to the mining town, hit the health jug, and eventually I made it through. And the listening post wasn't really bad when you're in there. But those technicians and some of the dragoons, they don't always go hostile on you, especially the technicians.
Right. Yeah. That's what it. It's like, okay,
There
I
was
killed everybody that was hostile. What is going on here?
I just say how admirable it is of you not to shoot the yellow guys. I
So-
appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah, I just had to take out one. There was another technician in there, but I only had to kill one of them to complete the objective.
Well, good. I'm glad that counted. But yeah, so you clean up listening post, you do all that, and then you have to do the final approach. And at that point, you no longer have your strike team with you. You're going in with just you and your boy Benji Montgomery. So let's see. Ray, did you basically probably did this the same way. You were probably a little bit less stealthy here, I assume, since you had every weapon at your disposal.
Yeah, when I was in the trenches, I was using the shotgun. When I was, around the mining town, I was using the sniper. When I was at the fuel depot, where there's a Chimera tank there that you have to take out. So that one I used the missile launcher. And
anybody.
and then I think inside the listening post, it was mostly the combat shotgun.
Anybody get shelled when talking to Dr. Amati there before you go into the trenches?
No, I
you
didn't know
make
that was
that
even
run.
possible.
No.
Took a little too long for their liking, I guess.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. No, I hadn't seen that. But so yeah, the combat shotgun. I mean, if I had that one, it would have probably been really useful a bunch of times. But I found this next bit pretty cool. You're going down, you're hitting the actual trenches. Like I called it a trench run earlier, but this is where it literally becomes trenches. And there are guys with
totally.
infernos. There are all kind of people coming at you. If you explore the whole thing, there are a couple of dead end wings. You can run with American troops, go through the dead end wing, and get them to a secure position, which I thought was kind of cool. They'll even lay down and take a nap if you get a couple of them living when you get to the corners and clean it out. They're like, okay, cool, this is our place now. They lay down, take a nap. And then you get to the last area where a vertibird lands and some guys with power armor come out. And those are, I believe Sergeant Montgomery calls them sending in the tin cans. And so you guys go in and you're making the assault to turn off the pulse rifle or the pulse shield.
It's it's
Yeah.
a shield because it's taking everybody out who's getting close.
Right. That's why you couldn't get in there before. And they said, don't even try until you take out these other two areas, of course. So we didn't. So yeah, took out that, hit the switch, no big deal. And that's when they call in, okay, send in the tin cans and send in everybody. And you do the final battle. Anybody want to talk? Like, Eric, you mentioned something about you better pass a speech test. So how did you approach this final battle?
When you get in there and the general is threatening you, you pass a speech check, just saying that you've already lost, give up. So he takes himself out, and this is where
What, with a sword, like just
he
right in the
impales
belly?
himself on his sword. Yep.
Wow.
I had to do this a few times because I go in there, and, I passed the speed check the first time, and then you go into the vault to get everything, and all the outcasts turned hostile on me. So I reloaded.
Wait, at what point did they turn hostile?
Yeah, explain. What do you mean?
So the general took himself out. I come out of the simulation and I go to loot the vault, and all of the outcasts decided they wanted to kill me at that point.
Right, they do that.
Well, I didn't think they were supposed to.
Yes, they are.
Some of them.
Yeah.
There's a whole story to it, but
Yeah.
you're talking about the part where you convinced the general to take himself out. So we're at the battle now.
Yeah, so I go back and I load back the auto save, and the general is just staring at me. So I had to go back to an earlier save to where I disabled the shield, and I failed the speech check. So I ended up getting killed by the general because he's not easy, and
He is one of the toughest NPCs in the game. He is
So-
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can pass this speech check, definitely do that.
Recommended pass.
I did not
So-
pass the speech check.
Me neither.
Speech check.
Well, and I because I want his sword.
Right.
My objective is to disarm him.
Oh,
Oh.
so he drops the sword.
if
didn't
you
know could
shoot
do
him. So it took a couple of tries, because if you shoot the sword out of his hand and it falls too close to him, he picks it right back up.
Jerk.
So I had to wait until I had hit him in a way that it, the sword flew further away from him, and I was able to run up and grab it before he could pick it up again. And then he's unarmed. And so then I just used his sword because
It's a nice
I
one.
have well, it's the the best thing you can get besides a shish kebab
Mhm.
in the game. It has the same base stats as the shish kebab, but it's electrocute instead of burn.
Mhm.
But so once you pick that up off of him, then use it on him, because I've got 100 melee.
Oh, that's clever. Use it. Kill him with his own sword.
Yeah, and he goes pretty quick if you've got the good melee, a lot faster than I did with guns. And so then this is where it gets tricky. So as soon as you kill him and you've got his sword, you make a save because the general is going to come over and talk to you. And, he tells you that you did a great job and that, everything is, spectacular. And then the simulation fades away. And so at this point, you've got a very, very specifically small window to activate Gary
Before the pot opens?
before you
disappears.
switch to reality. And so there's so you activate Gary while you're kind of in that whiteout between states, and then you just transfer all of your inventory over to Gary.
All your ill-gotten goods into Gary 23.
Yeah. So Gary's got all your ammo, all of your unbreakable weapons, and all of the specialized combat armor, and all the
winterized combat armor even?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Nice.
my goodness. Now y'all, this is the first DLC we're doing in this playthrough, and it's not a survival run, so only follow Ray's advice if you want to be OP. But it's a pretty cool challenge.
See, that's crazy. Like bringing those weapons into the real world, they're still unbreakable.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so not only did you have an easier time going through the DLC because
Extra.
you got all of the weapons instead of just one package. Now you've got all that to take with you to the real world. And if it transfers over to where you're now in the reality, the Gary window will still open, but you can only, you can see that all you've got is your standard equipment. And so then you've got to reload and try it again and try to catch it before you transfer to reality. And so now your little Gary corpse is fat with all the goodies. You hop out of the chair and you take it all from him, and then you talk to the proctor, and she talks about being able to open up the vault, and then off you go.
Sir, how many times have we had to ask you to not use corpses as luggage, please? That's just gross, right?
So you got to ask yourself, the Gary was just laying right there. Next room over. Is
that a Samsonite?
convenient.
No, it's a Gary.
It's a Gary. So
He does not fit in the overhead bin. Do not place Gary in the overhead bin.
Yeah.
Checked luggage only.
Yeah. He is missing an arm. Presumably the arm that had the Pip-Boy on it.
Oh, yeah,
They
probably.
probably tried to use it separate. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
That's funny.
But so my main goal in all this was to get the Jingwei sword,
Which is an excellent, excellent sword.
Yeah.
And you can get your own version, but not the unbreakable.
not the unbreakable one. Yeah, so in the armory there is
A version, but it degrades, and
Yeah.
the difference is it came from this simulation. None of the simulation weapons degrade, so therefore that one from the simulation does not degrade.
correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
So here's the deal. Now that you've done that, you can access. So you go down and you hit up the computer at the end of the hallway. Everyone's waiting excitedly with bated breath. You get into the computer, you access it, you open the vault. Now says you're told, hey, deal's a deal. I said you could go in and take what you need. So the pop-up comes, take what you need. I say you can go in and start getting stuff from the vault. Inside, there's some amazing T-51B power armor, winterized. So it's not the winterized combat armor, but it's power armor. It's really sweet. And by doing this, you can now use power armor as well. So you get the perk to
Yes.
use power armor, and you get access to much better power armor than regular power armor, or at least
Yeah.
very good.
And I think that power armor doesn't degrade.
I'm not sure
Really?
on that, but yeah, we'll have
Wow.
to check. You get in there. There's also Chinese stealth armor, which is awesome. So I think
that's
you
a
get
plus 15 to sneak.
plus 15 sneak, and it's 24 DR. So if regular combat armor is 16 DR, the Chinese stealth armor is 24 DR. I believe the power armor is like 45 DR or something. I don't remember the exact amount, but it's pretty high.
41,
You can also
I
get
think.
Jingwei's shock sword, but the one that will degrade on you. Now, Ray, do you know if you can repair Jingwei's shock sword with other weapons, or do you
Yeah,
have to?
Yeah,
Just
you
use
can
a
repair
merchant.
it with the regular Chinese officer swords.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. So you got that. You get a trench knight, and you get a Gauss rifle. So you do get the Gauss rifle, even if you don't pass a speech check. Beyond that, there's a bunch of ammo and stuff in there. Well, meanwhile, while you're in that room, you and Olin, Specialist Olin, outside, you hear Sibley starting to argue with Protector McGraw. So Defender Sibley, the Jack Weasel who brought you in, and he's arguing with Sibley. He's like, I'm sorry, you can't do this. And Protector says, a deal's a deal. And I don't have any exact quotes here, but essentially, the outcasts and Sibley are staging a coup, staging a mutiny. And they're like, no, you can't let this outsider have our stuff, which kind of makes sense because, the outcasts, they are true brotherhood in the idea of they want to preserve technology and not let people have it. And, they're treating you pretty badly from the beginning, talking about you, not just calling you outsider, but I mean, they're calling you local is a big thing they do, but there's a few more derogatory words as well.
Yeah, they're super rude.
And most of the outcasts in there are backing up Defender Sibley. So they attack and kill Protector McGraw. And not quite quick draw McGraw. He goes down pretty fast. And Olin, Specialist Olin, pulls out a flamer, a pretty sweet flamer there, and starts blasting it with fire. But it's up to you to use all your cool new loot if you're smart enough to, actually pick it up and start using it before this fight. Some of us, me, I was like, oh, they're having a conversation. So instead of looting a damn thing, I waddle out there, still in my little neuro jumpsuit, my cute little outfit with all the attachments and like 3DR, and listen to the conversations. That's how I heard the whole conversation about the mutiny and such, or the coup. And that I had to try to take them out without dying. I did, though. I did. There was a whole lot of shooting of the head and running and hiding
Nice.
behind Specialist Olin, who, she gave her life for the cause. But I survived, killed them all, and man, now you are. This reminds me of the mod we did in Fallout 4 Survival, that vault mod, where this treasure room has more loot than you can carry out on one person.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I
Even
made
on
a
a
trip
Gary.
to Megaton first.
And then
So-
if you kill all the other outcasts, you get all their power armor pieces
Well,
too.
everybody down there is angry at you, so like you have to fight them. There's really no way around it.
Yeah.
You
get
and then you're
all their
walking very,
armor.
very slow. Once you loot everything, you got their armor. And like anything in this game, you can stack it and repair it to make it way less, but it's a lot. So yeah, I did the long, slow walk. I slept in their bed to heal up. Then I waddled outside, couldn't remember if the ones outside were going to be hostile to me or not. But Defender, Moral, and the outcasts outside were not hostile to me.
Right.
So
I
they
was
don't.
kind of surprised that power armor doesn't boost your strength.
Yeah, it's old school. It definitely power armor in 3 in New Vegas was different. It wasn't really the walking tank. I mean, to be fair, this winterized T-51B looks like the most like the power armor that we have in the current games, and Ford 76 and stuff. I mean, they all kind of look the part, but it was always a little bit skinnier, a little bit jagged, and this power armor is like the closest to what we have currently. Yeah, it doesn't really boost strength. So yeah, I did the same as you. I killed a few mutants. I stored a bunch of my stuff in the desk after I waddled out. Fast traveled to Megaton, put it on my locker at my Megaton house. Fast traveled back, got more loot. Fast traveled to Megaton, put it in my locker. Did a third trip this time. Second fast travel back. Got everything I could back, and that's where I saved my game to try to sell to Moira and everybody in town next time I log in.
No. Moira's dead.
Still can't believe you did that.
I am I crazy, or can you not VAT specifically on a weapon in Fallout 4 and 76? 'Cause I noticed in 3 that you can do, each arm, each leg, the torso, the head, but I also noticed you can specifically target the weapon, and I'm like, I don't recall in 4 if you can actually
They changed the mechanic, so you can disarm them. You can disarm them by crippling the hand that's holding it. So if you want them to drop a weapon or whatever, cripple their right hand.
That's what Ray was talking about. So is that how you did it, Ray? You had to use VATS, or
Yeah. He used VATS to target the sword.
Neat.
And knock it out of his hand.
Why did they take that? Did they put in a disarm card or perk or something? I wonder why they would take that out. That seems really useful.
Yeah. Well, you can still do it in 4 if you shoot them in the arm. You can keep them from using their.
But will they?
Their weapon.
They'll drop their weapon sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's more logical. There are skills that will give you chance to disarm and such like that. And I think they felt the logic of hurting the arm, crippling the arm that's holding the weapon to make them drop it, as opposed to trying to shoot the weapon and having that have an effect.
Yeah.
It's also one more thing in VATS, which sometimes there are a few too many when you're flipping around.
It's just one more thing.
Especially when the VATS wasn't 100% pause, after a bit.
Yeah. Eric mentioned that he when he fought the was he a general? Who was the
General Junley? I think.
Yeah. He also killed me, and I had the same phenomenon where it reloaded. He was just standing there looking at me. I was like looking at him, and I'm like, is this guy gonna? Is he gonna do something? Is he gonna drop? Is he gonna what's happening here? And it took me way too long to realize. I just kept, and then I tried to move, and I couldn't move either. So I was like, something must be weird. So I figured out that each time I died, which was way more than I'd like to admit, I got to the point where I had to keep going back and turning off the field, and then go back and run across the thing and watch the Brotherhood blow up the door and come in. And then one of the times I reloaded, the Brotherhood, they launched all the mini nukes at the door and stuff, and it didn't blow up.
Oh no!
Really?
The door didn't move, so everyone was just standing outside. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
See, that's how you know it's a real simulation, because if it didn't have bugs, it wouldn't be Bethesda game within a game.
So funny. But after a few rounds of reloading, I realized, okay, make a hard save right here outside this door, so when next time this general kills me, I don't have to wait. And then I thought, oh my god, this was on PlayStation 3. I'm so glad that I'm not on that platform now, or else it would be I would have spent like 15 minutes of reload times each time I had to go through this goddamn door.
It's bad. Yeah, the first time that I died in Operation Anchorage which was from the artillery. That was the first time I died. Was to when I blew up the artillery and blew myself up. It locked the game. The whole screen went black. Huge
God.
white explosion. It went black.
You really
and it just
rocked
froze.
it hard.
And I'm like, is there something going on? Is something supposed to happen? Am I like in the simulation? Am I dead? And then I looked closely at the screen. I could just barely see the outline of like, the little loading screen stats you see with like kills, stealth kills, blah, blah, on the right. But it was so faint, like dark gray. And it just locked. So I had to shut everything down and restart.
Ugh.
Get back in. Luckily, my save wasn't too far back, but it was a little ways.
over, dude.
And the final dude with Jingwei, I did kill him. I found the best way to kill him was kiting. So you guys had it different ways, but I was basically running backwards, letting everybody deal with everybody else. I was just running backwards, shooting at Jingwei, running backwards, facing him. It was very much like, yeah.
No, that's exactly how I did it too. Like I couldn't.
Oh, good.
If I tried to approach him, he would just like stab, and I was dead in 2 swings.
Yeah, he's brutal.
So like,
But his reach isn't that great. Yakety sack sort of thing. It was basically like a yakety sack thing.
yeah, I was literally running backwards in a circle, and he was following. Yeah, it was hilarious.
It worked. Same. Okay, good. I'm glad it was a good tactic. Sometimes it's what you got to do.
That can't be. I don't know. We'll have to have Dwight on to see, but that cannot be a true effective war fighting tactic, right?
If your team has everybody else, occupied, and he brings a knife to a gunfight, just stay out of his reach. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Even a fancy knife.
It sounds pretty solid.
Yeah.
Very
So-
good.
Running backwards in a circle while firing a gun cannot be an encouraged strategy.
I just didn't want to fight him, so
Yeah.
it's like screw that.
That was a smart way. But Operation Anchorage, first DLC for Fallout 3, definitely a step up in toughness. It boosts the difficulty, so do not be ashamed about dying some, especially with us going at low level. They kind of balanced it, assuming people were going to be, level 10, 15, probably 20 by the time they did this, previous max level. Actually, sorry, Broken Steel was ahead. So yeah, you might even be higher. And, but it was a great DLC. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the difficulty, and I love the loot. The game will be. I don't have raise unbreakable stuff, which what a great tactic. That's just awesome, using Gary like that. But
I had no idea that was even a
Good
thing.
the Gauss rifle for my character will be good. I leveled a couple times as well. You mentioned leveling, Will. You got more powerful. I did put some into small guns by the end. So like when I leveled up, my small guns up to 30 from 20. I was planning for the future, so put more in energy weapons anyway. So when I exited, I had energy weapons about 75 now. So with the Gauss rifle, that's nice. And I took both the pistol perk and then the rifle perk. Sorry, that's not the exact name, but the one that gives you more accuracy, VATS accuracy, with each of them. And that has made a big difference.
Gunslinger.
Yeah,
Nice.
Gunslinger. That's the one. And Commando is the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's the
sounds
one I
like it.
took. I think.
Yep. So classic cards. They kept the names throughout all these, but slightly different effects, but same general idea. So I loved it.
I've started putting points into medicine now a lot, just so my rataways will be more effective.
Yeah, or Stimpack, yeah.
I need that right away because even during the simulation, did y'all get any radiation during the simulation?
During the
There's
Only-
there's one or two spots
Only
that
at the
you do.
gate, yeah. Entering the final battle was the only spot I saw.
I had to go back to that little medicine tent every time, where you load your sector after doing the Chimera thing and after doing the listening post, and every time I had to go run over and have the doctor in there reduce my radiation.
Yeah, you got to look at your
Something's going on.
your mod settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, because something's funky.
Tain't right.
I
Awesome.
will say though, I was happy when I exited. When you come up out the little elevator with Defender Moral or whatever. There's people that aren't hostile with you anymore. I checked my radiation meter, no radiation. So I was like, yes.
Awesome.
If I wanted to try to remove a missile launcher from there, is it possible at this point, or do you have to have already
You have
engaged
to have already
the
put
Gary
in
thing?
place. Yeah.
So I need to restart the whole thing in order to put
The
Gary
whole thing. Yep.
in place.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth that.
It's not worth it.
Get the indestructible, though. Getting the indestructible a big gun is awesome because I found with the flamer, if I fire it 3 times, it is broken. You know what I mean? Like I can fire my pistol, 800 times, and then it'll break eventually. But I find the big guns break very, very quickly. And I don't know if there's a perk I can take, or what I need to do in order to make big guns break less.
What's
less
your repair
frequently.
skill at? Like, what are you repairing these to?
Well, see, that's the thing. There's not a ton of flamers laying around that I found yet. I'm still a lot lower level than most of you guys. You guys are. I'm still. I think I just hit 7 or 8. I think.
Okay.
But Will, I also leveled up twice in the simulation as well.
I was
Yeah.
going to
Sounds
ask
like we all
when you
did.
said you went in. Yeah, it seemed like good
Yeah.
XP in there.
I did too, but it was level 15 and 16.
That's a lot more XP. Yeah.
I think it was 13 and 14 for me.
Yeah, I was
So
8 and 9.
I made sure to take Pyromaniac after you mentioned that, Ray, since I'm mainly using the shish kebab.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, makes a big difference on shish kebab.
Well, I think that wraps up Operation Anchorage. Although, Eric, you're doing feedback this season and not on every ep. So, do you have any further thoughts on Operation Anchorage or ever? Where would you rank this in your pantheon of Fallout DLCs?
well, like I said, I definitely
All the
enjoyed
DLCs.
it. Now that I have a better idea of the mechanics behind it, because the first time I was constantly running out of ammo. And yeah, the lore behind it is really interesting. Now that it's the first time I had no idea about any of the Fallout lore behind the Great War and all that. So, or the resource wars or any of that. So, I mean, I guess a lot of it is, the simulation is BS as far as the lore goes, but still, like, the concept is really cool where you can actually go and see what Alaska looks like pre-war. So
I think the big beats are probably accurate. Like the overall idea is, yeah.
Yeah. So definitely think it's worth playing.
Awesome. Yeah, glad I got it in again too. It's fun to check, and this whole season's going to be great because haven't played all the DLC, and even the ones I have, it's like once or twice at most. Some people play them regularly. I don't. I tend to just do the main game more often, so that's good.
I mean, it's been a good 10 years since I played it too, so there's that.
So, Andrew,
I know that. See, my thoughts. I know that it's hard to go back in time or write the story so that it makes sense. But the only problem I had with this was that it wasn't real, so therefore there's no loss or gravity to the situation, really. It's a simulation. These people aren't actually dying. Your friend isn't actually getting shot right next to you on the battlefield. None of this is actually real. If they would have put I don't know, see, but you can't do time because time travel always gets really stupid and cheesy and it doesn't work. So I don't know how to do it, but it's awesome to go back and see, like Eric was saying, that era, that time period of the Fallout story. But my only problem with it is like there's no consequences because nothing's real.
Well, I can see that. I mean, it's an historical event, so it did happen, just to different people, not you, as much. And it's like watching Apollo 13.
Yeah.
You're still cheering for Tom Hanks. You might not actually know him, but yay, I'm glad he lived.
But if I was watching Apollo 13 with a VR helmet and I was in the space shuttle with them somehow,
like Will does these days.
Yes.
Will, are you there? Were you handing him the roll of duct tape?
yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and they could do like a Tranquility Lane style thing where there's multiple pods.
Right.
And,
the memory. Yeah, sure.
Real life people are in there. And if you don't protect them and keep them alive in the simulation, they die in the real world.
You die in the simulation, you die in real life, right? Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Trapped for that long? Wow. I mean, like in Tranquility Lane, but like more of them for that in a battle simulation. That would be hell.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Well, Andrew,
Yes.
What do you want to hit next? Do you want to talk about the trailer that set the world on fire? Or do you want to get into some games?
Mention this trailer. That sounds like a good idea.
So yeah, we wouldn't be a Fallout show if we didn't mention the trailer that came out yesterday, 2 days ago now. The most recent, or probably last trailer. Actually, we don't know if it's going to be the last trailer, but the big trailer for the Fallout TV show dropped. We had one back with the big reveal a little while ago when they talked about when it'd be coming out and all that. And a new trailer dropped. We are a month away from the show coming out. I mentioned the whole South by Southwest event that some people are at last week. So that event just happened. Really cool setup with people going to Philly, all set up outside the South by Southwest. Cool party, really neat events happening there. And they got to, I believe, attendees got to watch a good 10 minutes of the show. So they got a sneak peek. I also have it on good authority that a number of TV critics and other critics out there have gotten a sneak peek at the show. So there are some people out there who have seen the first episode, or at least a portion of it, depending upon who you are and which preview you were at, which event. It's all under wraps right now. There probably won't be spoilers because it's not as many people as sometimes. But if there are, it would only be from the first episode. It wouldn't be beyond that. At least press and other people haven't seen more than that. There will be 8 episodes, and revealed in the beginning of this trailer too, all episodes are dropping on April 12th. So it's not. It is the 8 episodes like we thought. It is going to be 8 episodes, but instead of 8 weeks, which a lot of us were excited for because we love that anticipation, it's going to be all 8 episodes at once. So enjoy your Fallout weekend, the weekend of the 12th. I know that's not the trailer itself. That's just the news around it. I'm sorry. I went all iguana bits on you guys for a second. But yeah, all at once. I know you were thinking about, a lot of us who enjoy the content creation aspect and just like the excitement and hype of like conspiracy theories and what's going to happen and that whole aspect of a TV show, the water cooler talk, as great as it is to be able to binge it, it's also sad that we're going to not have the same water cooler talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, that we were planning on having like breaking each episode down on tapes from the waste, and yeah, thanks for ruining those plans, Amazon. But still, like you said, there's also the anticipation where each week you're going over it with your friends, and I don't know what is Amazon always does weekly releases. Why did they choose to not do it with this show?
Benjamin Linus is in this goddamn show.
He's so good. That's Michael Emerson. He's so good. He's playing Wilzig, who we believe is an escaped scientist. So here's my theory there. There are a couple. There's not really spoilers because we don't know anything. Some people have said Enclave. Some people have said Brotherhood or a clandestine group. We know that this show is introducing a new faction, sort of. Hawthorne Labs, an offshoot experimental laboratory group that are part of Vault Tech. I'm wondering if he was with Hawthorne Labs and running away from them. And I say that because in the old trailer, we saw him running away with a dog that we were calling Dog Meat, carrying a briefcase with probably the series MacGuffin. But yeah, so anyway, the trailer came out, you guys. I'm sure everybody's watched it at least once. Andrew, have you watched the trailer?
I'm watching it right now. I forgot the main guy. I think he becomes a ghoul.
Walter Goggins.
Goggins, he's the bad guy, and
well, it's interesting because we thought he might be the antagonist. But it turns out he is more of a gray character than I thought. He's complicated. He's described as complex. Like originally we thought, he's going to be a ghoul companion. Then we start hearing him talk about, how he is tough and a bounty hunter. We're like, oh, maybe he's going to be the antagonist. But it turns out he's more Hancock than Kellogg. You know what I mean? Like he's a bit of both. Yeah. He's a bit of the tough bounty hunter, but he's definitely more Hancock. He's a ghoul into the drugs.
I really liked him in a movie called Fat Man. He was really, really good.
Yeah,
Um,
great actor.
No, I've watched the other trailers and was just kind of like, yeah, cool, looks like Fallout. It should be fun. I just watched that one and it did like the skin goosebumps thing. I don't know what the difference was, but it was just like,
This trailer had the build up.
wow,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
this is gonna be cool.
And
Yeah.
Ray, what else did it have?
Goggins was really interesting. You know, his had probably my favorite line in the whole trailer, where she shoots him with a trank dart, and he says, "That's a tiny little drop in a really big bucket of drugs."
That is great. Yeah.
And that's why, yeah, that kind of thing is just, that's what's so Hancock to me. Like that line, and then later when it's all woo, you know. I think my favorite line was the one that Aaron Moten's character Maximus says later on, near the end, where he is, you know, saying everyone wants to save the world, they just disagree on how, you
Mhm.
know, and
That's good.
and that sums up factions so well in
Mhm.
Fallout. That line really hit me. But I was going to say, I think the thing that gave us goosebumps more than anything in this was not just the great pacing and build up, but it kicks in with our song. I don't want
Yeah.
to set the world on fire.
For
You know,
sure.
so like previously we had other music, and this time it's our song. This is it. This is the Fallout intro. This is, you know,
Yeah.
and such a great use of it. Like sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's faint in the background. Sometimes they repeat a chorus a couple times, and then by the end it's kind of on like a faraway speaker. But yeah, the trailer's great. You follow more about Lucy, learn more about Lucy, and not only do you get more about Vault life, and I like the fact that you see them setting up a picnic before the big battle scene everybody sees with the Vaults attacking each other for some reason. Whether it's drugs in the Jello mold, who knows? We don't know if it's due to the experiment. We'll find out. But you get Lucy leaving for some reason. Once again, we still don't know why, but I think the motivation of her character, the Vaults, the whole fact it starts out with her saying, you know, everyone, you know, has to support the Vault's mission, you know, our mission to get out there and to help rebuild civilization, you know, and that's the whole Vault Dweller kind of hubris, like not realizing as you've been down here surviving and living as best you could in the Vault in whatever way, the world out there has gone on. You know, they've evolved. So she's out there, she's got this hubris. She's a little bit, I'm not going to say full of herself, but like the whole Vault Dwellers in general, they have a little bit of a hero complex, a bit of a savior complex, if you want to think about it. A lot of them, not all of them, but, you know, a lot of them leaving in the games. And immediately, that shopkeeper, I don't know her name
Yes.
yet. It's on the store. The actress, though, Dale, she's great. And
Wonderful
that line. Yeah, that line. Wait, you're a Vault Dweller? I thought all you dipshits were good. Like, just love that. Hilarious. And the whole trailer, you know, we won't go blow by blow. People can just talk about their favorite parts. My favorite part was that line. I loved seeing the destruction and the wasteland landscape even better here. I really like the vibes of all the characters. And yeah, Michael Emerson, I love that actor so much. Benjamin Linus, as you call him. He's such a good actor.
I like the Mr. Handy. Reminded me of the first time I saw Star Wars. The Mr. Handy looks like a beat up, practical special effects thing. Like it looks like a 1970s, you know, robot, like made for the sci-fi movies. You know, it's like it really hits a nostalgia button for me. This whole thing.
Such a great moment.
Yeah.
It brings in a kind of an Alice kind of feel to her too. The way she's out there like, oh, Mr. Handy. So happy to see like something that's more familiar from Vault Tech in this area, which by the way, the area she's in, do you guys think that she was stomping on a Deathclaw egg? I think that was a Deathclaw egg that she stomps on in that hallway.
And
I
what
thought
was-
it was a rad roach.
Yeah.
And what was
Oh.
that fleshy sort of like gulper with spikes?
We
Yeah,
still
the-
don't know.
The mutant axolotl. I mean, we're calling it an axolotl because it's more like that than a gulper, but could be
Yeah,
something like that.
People have said gulper. I don't see that at all.
Yeah, and
Just
I mean,
looks
it's,
like
it's
a pink,
anything like that.
pink
It looks
spiky
different.
gulper to me.
I
West
think it is
Coast
something new.
gecko gulper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
definitely something new.
It's a fucking gecko. It totally is a gecko, you guys. Come
Oh,
on.
I'm sad that's just a rad roach. I had this idea that when she was in that building and she's holding up the like Vault Tech jar there, you know, the old Vault Tech jar that we had poison in it or something. She's
Mhm.
discovering something, and I thought she stomped on an egg. So okay, rad roach. That makes a little more
Well, that's
sense.
just what I thought. I don't know for
I-
sure.
No, you guys are probably right. It was such a quick shot.
I watched it with the sound off. What you said? The main girl's character's name is Lucy. What
Yep.
is the ghoul guy?
Cooper Howard, but they just call him the Ghoul.
They just call him the ghoul.
At this point, yeah, because he's kind of got this reputation as a bounty hunter, the Ghoul. Because, they may not know that many, and he's got a reputation, but he was Cooper Howard pre-war. He's kind of our, in some ways, connection to the past. And then the Brotherhood of Steel Squire is Maximus.
It seems like we're in the 210 frame, but how many years post-war are we?
I would have
200.
It's-
19
they said
years
it's set-
after 4, right?
No, it's
Yeah,
9 years after
nine,
4.
yeah.
9 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
sorry.
it's about 230 years. 220 years.
220. Cool.
It's still in the continuity that you figured 3, New Vegas 4, and now this are in a very pretty tight continuity together.
And this
I just can't wait
this
to
is out
learn.
west, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Set around LA.
I just can't wait to learn what the experiment is, because that woman you see with the fork in her eye,
Mhm.
you see her for a split second normal. Like she's got
Yeah, that's
both eyes,
before the
she's
big fight in the picnic.
smiling, like, yeah, it's like, what happened that
And then smiling
made
again
everybody
with
go
an eye
batshit?
patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, smiling again later with the eye patch. Like almost like you wonder if this is something that just happens occasionally in this vault, and that's the experiment, or like I said, Psycho in the Jello mold.
Yeah.
I don't know. How about the Maximus character too? Like the Brotherhood looks pretty sick, and he joined for different reasons than most. You see him as a kid being rescued by somebody from the Brotherhood after something bad happened, and he said, "I joined the Brotherhood to
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact phrasing.
Hurt the people that
hurt me."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So when are we gonna get Fallout VR with a VR headset that is a power armor helmet?
Oh wow.
Probably
amazing.
sooner than later.
Yeah.
And that would
And
be
when
excellent.
can I put myself in not the game but the TV show, where I'm an extra, just like eating in the background and stuff? Come on.
Yeah, that's probably going to be from, it's funny. It'll probably be from Meta first, from Facebook first.
God.
This is an Amazon property, but they want to do that. They want to do that. But yeah, just really cool. You do see the NCR too, which, by the way, some of the dialogue about the NCR showing up there, they talk about how they're a little bit more ragtag than they'd expect. That's possible, but we don't see a whole unit, and it's only some pretty quick shots. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I think
So-
that's a flashback. Because you see them right after Maximus says that line about hurting
Mhm.
people that hurt me, and then you flash to a battle, and it looks like it's the Brotherhood taking on the NCR.
yeah, it's outside the
So,
observatory. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
Was-
could be a flashback. It could be current. The NCR may not be quite as powerful as we last saw them, but it's also possible they've just recontracted their territory a little bit, that some areas absolutely are. And the area we're taking place around, LA and the Boneyard and all that, they might not have as much influence as they did. Or it might just be, near that area, but not completely in. I mean, there's still a lot more to learn, but we do think it'll be mostly around, because Vault 33 is outside Santa Monica Pier. Vault 32 is around there nearby somewhere. Most likely Vault 4 is nearby too, since that's where Cooper is filming that promo at that you see early on. And yeah, so we don't know about the NCR, how powerful they are, if they've declined at all, why the Brotherhood appears to be a little bit more powerful. So it's almost like the balance of power rebalanced. But we talked about this a month or two ago, that as much as the Brotherhood were a bit beaten down in New Vegas, that was just one of 6 chapters that had, kind of escaped and retreated in the lore, and that some might be doing better. And even the Brotherhood in Hidden Valley in New Vegas, they were pretty tough if they had to come out in force. They were just on their back foot because of, the huge battle at Helios 1, and the NCR was tougher. So if the NCR overextended themselves, they might have less of a presence in some areas. This other Brotherhood chapter is stronger, maybe hooked up with East Coast Brotherhood like we were talking about. And I don't know. I couldn't be more excited. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, for sure.
We go
Yeah.
on and on.
Yeah, it's definitely a great trailer, and it looks like it's going to be a great series.
Yeah.
There was another trailer that recently released that I was very, very underwhelmed with.
Oh no, what?
The Borderlands.
Oh yeah, your Borderlands movie. We didn't talk about that last week, did we really? I mean, we mentioned the casting, but you saw the trailer.
Yeah, I was so stoked when I first saw that was coming out. And after the trailer, I was like, meh,
Not your claptrap.
no. I mean, and that was the best possible character. All the when I saw Kevin Hart was cast as Roland, it's like, no, that guy's like 3'2".
Yeah, and no, Roland's
is-
like 6 foot and buff.
Yeah, he is not even close.
Who
So-
voices Claptrap?
Jack Black.
Yep.
Which
Hmm.
he's gonna
He's
do
just not
well.
shrill enough. Yeah, he'll do a good job with the snark and everything, but he's just not shrill enough.
And I mention it because I mean, you always say Claptrap is your favorite
yeah.
character. Just hilarious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I did,
But-
Ray. I haven't tried it out at all yet, but that was another purchase I made this week. Is I saw Borderlands 2 VR was a thing, so I did purchase that one also. But
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah,
what I'm
series
Borderlands
I've
2
got.
was fun.
Mhm.
So
I have no experience with the series. I really should though, because it looks like a hell of a lot of fun.
And a couple of
it's a completely different style. I mean, it is just it's just all out, but yeah, it's a blast and it's hilarious, great writing, and just the most over the top characters you could have on every level. So
well, you guys, do we have time for one game? Or do you want to head into some news and wrapping? What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, we got time for a game. Let's play a game.
Awesome.
We got 3 games. Which one do you want to play?
but now, so before we get started here, I do have a little anecdote.
Yes.
So last night, Bob Carroll and I got together and had wings.
No way. That's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. And he was telling me a story about how, several months ago, he was listening to one of the shows, while he was working and thought about, the games and, what would he come up with if he was going to write a game for the show? And
Oh, I like it. I like this.
And so he's like, well, I'm not really that great on all the trivia and everything, but, I love map locations. And I would, was thinking that I would create a game where, I would give you 2 locations and you would have to guess which one was further north than the other.
What?
And then he said, and then a month or 2 later, I hear Andrew with Mappalachia. And I'm like, that's my game.
Oh, Bob. I didn't mean to rip you off, buddy. It was a cosmic ripoff. I didn't hear you say it out loud.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he was excited when he heard.
Great minds
heard
think
us-
alike, Bob. Great minds,
Exactly.
buddy.
So, but we had a great visit. So it was good
That's
seeing
amazing.
Bob
Where'd you
again.
go out for
That's
wings?
awesome.
Where's Hot Lanta's
Jackson.
wing spot?
Jackson Brazelton.
Is that
It's
that
a bar.
English?
It's just a little joint.
Jackson
Uh,
Brazelton.
It's it's just a little country bar. So,
Probably do they deep fry their wings? Then it's probably pretty good.
yeah, it was tasty. They're not breaded, but they were definitely deep fried.
Well, if they're not breaded, then fried is awesome. If they're not, if you bake and bread, I don't know. I like them fried either way.
Yeah.
Always better. All right. So game it up, Jess. What are we playing?
Okay, let's game it up. You guys, if we're going to play my game, we'll save Will's for next week. And Helter Shelter, that's just one of your
Yeah, we can
Raider
put,
loser
host-
head games,
host-
right?
torturers,
push
yeah.
that forever.
Okay, you guys, what time is it?
Refillables.
Awesome.
That's right. It's time for another edition of WOWIE. WOWIE is the game. Which one was it? even. I had to add an E to make it WOWIE now. So we played this a month ago, and this is where I give a list of items or locations. I'm going to go down each one. You got to tell me which game it was from. So we had a lot of fun with it the first time. We got some fun ones in there, and it brought us back to a couple of games. So I'm doing the same thing for this one. I am doing locations again. So we are going to, it's going to be a chime in with your name and guess kind of game. And just, that'll give you guys all a chance to do. I will keep track of points. In fact, let me write this down. We're going to do R, A, E, and W. What does that spell? Okay. So I have 15 choices here, 15 to go through. And some of these are a little bit tricksy, but that's why I wanted to wait when we had guests on so you guys could all have a chance of getting this, okay? So which one was it even? First answer, Camp Searchlight. Which game was that from?
Ray. Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas is correct. Point for Ray. Okay, next one. Friendship Station. Friendship Station. Andrew?
I was buzzing us out because we're taking too long. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that was Fallout 3. Friendship Station was
I don't
Fallout
remember
3.
if it was 3 or 76.
I thought for sure it was going to be 1 or 2 since I hadn't played this. Okay.
Yeah, there are a bit of stations. So I do not have any 1 or 2, by the way, you guys. I do not have 1 or 2.
No,
Friendship Station.
Only the modern games on this one. Yeah, previously I did do 1 and 2 the last time, but this time no. I'll give you guys that hint. Just make it a little easier on you.
Can you tell us what happened there?
At Friendship Station?
Yeah.
Well, that's where the ponies taught you that friendship was magic.
Thanks.
I don't remember. There are a lot of stations. Okay, next up, the Dunwich Building.
Eric. 3.
Eric?
Yeah, that's also 3. Yeah.
That is correct. The Dunwich Building was in 3. Next up, Copley Station.
Ray. Fallout 4.
Yes. Excellent. We've got a station point for Ray.
Where's that, Ray?
Okay.
It just sounded Boston.
Yeah, it's actually, I do know that one. It's
Kaplan.
kind of in the back bay. It's not too far from Diamond City. Okay. West Roxbury Station. West. Will?
Fallout 3.
What is love?
Will. I am sorry, it is not Fallout 3.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to let that one go. And I think we're only going to do 1 guest each because with 5 of you here, you guys could whittle them down if I let someone else guess.
We'll go on for another hour, yeah.
I just thought I'd go back. All right.
We're going to go with no points there. So sorry, Will.
Oops,
That is from
sorry.
Fallout 4 as well. So yeah, the theme of this game is stations because there are so many stations in 3. I'm like, oh, this will be tricksy. Let's do stations in all the games. Okay, next up,
Station.
Marigold Pavilion.
Eric.
Pavilion. Eric?
Fallout 3.
Oh,
Oh, really?
that is incorrect. Marigold Pavilion is the location in Fallout 76, right above Point Pleasant. If you go there, you'll often run into either settlers or raiders there, and you can fight them. It's that cool little pavilion by the
I've
pond.
been there recently. That's why I thought it was 3.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a Marigold Station in 3, but it's not a pavilion.
That was the
Wow.
trick. That was the trick. Okay, coming up,
Trixie.
we have R&G Station.
Andrew.
R&G Station. Andrew,
That's 76, way down south.
you got that one right on, Andrew. Okay, beautiful. Next, Dunwich Borers.
Andrew, Fallout 4.
And
Definitely knew that one.
good one, Andrew. Okay, that puts us at 2 Ray, 2 Andrew, 1 Eric, and 2 in the trash. You guys just threw it on the ground. Had enough of these answers. Okay,
Sorry.
next up, Northwest Seneca Station.
Eric. That is Fallout 76.
Yeah, that's,
I am
I also
sorry.
thought that.
It is Northwest Seneca Station is in Fallout 3. Seneca Rocks and lots of other Seneca stuff are in 76.
Yes. Oh.
I got pretty
She's a
tricksy on
trickster.
these.
You're
She's
being
a
are
trickster.
sinister
tricksy.
this time.
Very
That's the theme.
tricksy.
Okay, next up, Marigold Station. Marigold Station.
Wait, did you do
Ray.
this already?
Ray?
Oh,
That's
she did Pavilion before. I see what she's doing.
Yeah, that's Fallout 3.
Ray, you just leveled up. Good job. 3 points for Ray.
Good
Okay.
job, Ray.
Next up, Wilson Brothers Auto Repair.
Andrew, 76.
Wow.
Right above the
Good.
gorge.
Job, Andrew. You got that. Okay, 3 and 3, neck and neck. We still got a few more answers. Anybody's game. Sunny Top Station.
Andrew, 76.
Andrew was going for the throat this time. I figured Eric would or Will would jump in on that one, but
I
no.
was going to. He was too
Yeah,
quick.
he was
He's
on
so
it.
fast. You guys, you gotta be quick on your think. You gotta jump in.
Quick
you gotta
on your
get that steal.
think.
I knew that.
Well, after my earlier error, I'm trying to second guess myself a little bit. Like, make sure you're right. It's
Okay, keep it on going. Boulder City Station. Boulder City Station.
Will
Eric?
Will?
New Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes, New Vegas. A point for Will. Oh wait, you need to get a chime.
Yay!
I was so excited to give you a point. Okay, and here we go. Cliff Briscoe's Bungalow.
Whoa. Cliff Briscoe. I'll,
That
Anybody?
Andrew, I'll just guess New Vegas because Cliff Briscoe sounds country western to me.
he's the guy who mans the dinosaur, right?
Yep, he's the guy
Yep.
who runs the Dinky
Oh,
Dino gift shop.
nice.
Nice. Class Cliff Briscoe. And his bungalow is right there in Novak. So excellent. That is a point. Andrew, you got that one, right? Or did Eric get that one? Who said that?
No, that was him.
I nailed it.
Yep.
Nailed it. Final score 5 points, Andrew. 3 points, Ray. 1 point each, Eric and Will. Great job, you
That's
guys.
how you play the game.
Wowie,
Wowie.
Andrew.
Wow.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. I love it. Good game, Jess.
Okay.
Very tricky.
Tricks.
Yeah, I
You
wanted to go
got
for
me
a
a couple
theme.
times there.
I'm so sorry. I deliberately put that out like a landmine too. I knew that some of those were going to grab people, and I'm sorry, but thank you guys for stepping
Well, I
into
have
my
a
chat.
habit of blowing myself up. So
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Easy to do.
So- For some quick iguana bits, you guys, let's get into the iguana bits.
Let's do it.
Jessica, Andrew, do you
to
wanna-
the office, please? Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jess. That's the moment I was waiting for. I really wanted some tasty iguana bits, and boy, did I get some. First of all, the trailer we already talked about, but goddamn. The South by Southwest event
Yeah.
is really cool. I mentioned that people got to see stuff. In attendance there were a number of the actors, and Todd. Todd was there, a number of writers and community people from
Really?
Fallout 76. I'm sorry, seeing the pics with Todd, just always exciting,
that was
Show-
cool. Yeah.
showing up. Poor guy. I bet he was tired of being in so many pictures by the end. But a lot of cool photo opportunities there, and we got just some really good kind of vibe and feel for what the show's going to feel like from that event. I am not going to get into the beta notes, but the Starfield Steam beta is out on Steam now, and Steam beta. I mentioned that before. Not a PTS. It's a Steam beta, and it will be coming to Xbox and Game Pass PC in 2 weeks is the plan. But it has a lot of updates. I think we mentioned a few things, just highlights off the top of my head. Our photo mode poses for your companions and Vasco, and a number of expressions. We finally get expressions, which I know some people are like, wait, that's not the game. Photo mode isn't the game. How is
Yes,
that
it is.
content? You know what? Some of us, that is content. That is ours. So when you get to Starfield, Will, you will have the better version of photo mode.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait till I
So-
get to see some of your Starfield pictures.
When
I'm
they
so
when they say 100 hours of gameplay, this is what they mean, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited. And when they first mentioned it was coming, I chimed in on the thread and I'm like, I have to get serious. I was so excited, but I'm also like, I have to be serious, you guys. It's very important that you get this right. Photographers, virtual photographers, we want some subtle expressions. We want some realistic poses and subtle expressions. It's not all about woohoo, hot dog on skis, or like or like the shock face that looks like you're about to swallow the entire freaking world. Your mouth is open so big. We want some subtlety. You know, give me a little concern. Give me a little bit of side eye. Give me some, oh, what's that? You know, like surprise, but like curious. Well, they did. Okay, we've got some over the top ones. We've got some subtle ones, and it's looking awesome. So
I
excited
think
for
the
that.
holding your breath one is the one that made me laugh the most.
A little chipmunk for sure. Well, also a few other things besides tons and tons of quest and bug fixes that we have going to be, you're able to switch your active quest by selecting quest objectives on the map and a few quality of life things like that. There are a number of quality of life, and then there is even more quest and bug fixes than there have been in any of the previous ones. So this is a big patch. If you look at it as the one we got beginning of February was all quality of life and fixes, this one now has some new content with all the photo mode stuff and a few little things, and then quality of life stuff. Hopefully next patch is even more on the content side because people want content. And, you know, within the next two, fingers crossed, we'll either get the Creation Club or Creation Kit announced, Creation Kit and Creations coming to the game, or we start getting stuff on these new ways to travel and stuff like that. We will see when we get there, but either way, the beta's out now. We'll see the rest of it in a couple weeks. And finally, on the Jones Cola, I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I think I did. It is sold out, but they are restocking. So you can go on the Jones Soda Co. website for the places if you want to restock and pre-order for that. Arizona Beverage also has a Fallout tie-in. You guys, so much Fallout merch. Let's just drop it. I had a thing. So with the TV show coming out, Amazon's doing a ton of Fallout related merch with the show and then some general stuff. IGN, the gaming site, is in their store doing some Fallout merchandise. Of course, Bethesda Gear has a bunch of new merch. Other places do too. And they're on sale and out there. And I'm like, there are 5 Fridays this March. 5. After all the announcements yesterday, I was then checking my bank account. I was talking to Renee at night, checking my account balance. I'm like, I can order some of this stuff. So I bought a few things, pre-ordered a few because there are 5 Fridays, so we can still pay rent. But there's a lot of great merch out there. Oh my goodness. So Arizona Tea is launching a Fallout Arizona Tea energy drink Fallout themed. I don't know. The coolest thing about that was the box. Have you guys seen this?
No.
I've seen the box. I've seen the cans. I haven't seen the box.
The cans are kind of plain. They're just Arizona cans, a little bit Fallout-y. But the actual box looks like a Vault-Tec box. So if you buy a case of them, you get the blue and the big old yellow logo and stuff. So that's really kind of cool.
The lunchbox or what?
No, the cardboard case to come in. Yeah, I'm excited about a cardboard box. This is my life. But you got that. You got the Jones soda. You got some of the TV merchandise they're doing is the official Pip-Boy from the show, which looks like the coolest Pip-Boy they've done yet. So I have my Sugar Bombs Pip-Boy, which is awesome, but a bit gomby. But I might order this. I don't know if I can resist how good this looks. It looks like it'll actually clasp and stay on your arm better, and it's totally functional. It's got alarms and a clock, and it's got actual functions and features. Really cool. So I just wanted to mention all the cool gear. There are 5 Fridays. Feel free to indulge if you're like me.
You're lucky you get 5 Fridays. I get paid monthly, so.
Oh no! Oh, it's the same for you. I'm sorry. Yeah. The truth is, it meant February was a bit tight, but I was responsible in February. So 5 Fridays after you're responsible, I can be a little less responsible. Let me just put it this way. When I was checking out at the Bethesda Gear Score, and I got the whole gear score. No, I did score, but it was a store. It's like free shipping for VIP fan. I'm like, I'm a VIP fan. I was momentarily full of myself. I'm like, ooh, is this because I occasionally get some free items from them from the store, and now they know it, and all my stuff is free? Like, well, and I came back to reality. Maybe it's because I spend too much. And then I bought other stuff because you can only order some things separately. And next time it's like VIP Maniac free shipping. I'm like, oh, heck muffins. Heck muffins. I am officially a maniac according to the store when I check out. I go and I look up the whole like fan club point reward system, and that's like the highest level. I'm like, hopeless. I'm hopeless.
Oh no, I've spent too much money with these people.
I'd love to get that Pip-Boy though. Like
Yeah.
Do you know what just dawned on me a couple of minutes ago when we were all talking about this Fallout TV show and everything? If this has any whiff of success to it, we can fully expect a Skyrim series shortly after. I bet.
Oh my god.
I mean, maybe.
Skyrim 2, the show.
Fantasy has a lot of touchstones, but they are hitting up games for TV and movies more lately. After there's been a few successful ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Last of Us being successful really helped. Halo being moderately successful.
Anybody watch the Halo show? Is it any good?
I've seen the first season. I haven't seen the second yet.
I've never
I saw the
played
first
the game,
episode.
so I don't know.
We could see for free, but I don't subscribe to Stars, so I couldn't watch. I think it's Stars. So I haven't watched the rest. I've heard first season was a bit
Paramount. Yeah.
iffy. Oh, it's Paramount. Okay, I should get back in there. I heard first season was a bit iffy where it went, but second season people are saying has improved a little bit closer to the lore with the fall of Reach and stuff. But yeah, decent.
It's just fun being able to like say, with Fallout coming out, like send out the messages. Like, I'm sending one to my ex-wife and my friend that lived down the street. This is the show. Here's the trailer for the show. You know that game I'm always telling you about that I do stuff. It's nice to be able to do that. And then, like I had that same thing with like Last of Us. It's like, this is my favorite game. You don't
Stuff we only
understand.
dreamed about as a kid. Yeah.
Being able to tell our normie friends like this is the game I'm obsessed with, and maybe they actually finally understand. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. But you're right. Elder Scrolls show could totally happen, Andrew.
That would be amazing.
Will, would you do that with Last of Us? Would you, if someone was mildly interested in the game, would you recommend them to watch the show in order to get excited about playing the game?
Oh, first, I don't know. I guess first, it depends. Like, if they were inclined to play mini games, like some of the people I mentioned, like I was like, oh, this show, The Last of Us, is going to be good because I hyped that one up before it came out too. It's like, you need to watch it. It's just going to be great and all this. But I never had any expectations that they would play the games at all. So, if they were someone, like my son, maybe, but he was already into it, so I don't know.
Was Mando or Last of Us first? What was Pedro Pascal from?
Mando.
Was
yeah,
first?
definitely Mandalorian. Yeah.
He's all over the place now.
So it'll be interesting to see because the holy grail of the whole thing is like with the Cyberpunk anime series where it just totally blew the game up.
Mm-hmm.
And people started playing it like crazy.
Yep.
After that animated series came out.
Yeah, we'll do that
Runners did a lot. Yeah.
For Fallout 76 and Fallout 4 and all that. I mean, it could. It could, especially if we get that next gen Fallout 4. Some people now, obviously, there's the rumor feeling they were holding it to launch with the TV show, and maybe, the release date on the pre-order special edition, the Fallout anthology we're talking about last week with the mini nuke and all the games, is that for April 11th? I think, like the day before. I don't know, but can you imagine if they launched the Fallout 4 Next Gen Enhanced Edition? So that would be the one that you would actually be able to download and use if you got that anthology and have it all at the same time. I don't know.
And Fallout 5 is released that same day.
Actually, it's funny because in the promo, more than once, Jonathan Nolan has used the phrase, you can think of this as a little bit like Fallout 5. Kind of talk about the story continuing and the fact that it is canon, which, of course, is a little bit heresy because we know we will get a real.
You're just
Fallout
torturing
5
us at this point, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who was the Ubisoft guy? What was it? Ubisoft? I don't even remember. But back in the first iteration, who was that? Todd Howard of Fallout 1. You know what I'm asking. Who was that guy?
Interplay?
Interplay. Who was that? Who was the guy? And is he in the loop as a producer as well?
Well, there are a couple of the guys, but back then, that's Tim Kaine was the guy who was one of the lead designers on Fallout 1. But then talking about Interplay, that was also Brian Fargo, who now runs In Exile. Like he was the boss, and then Tim Kaine was the designer lead on Fallout.
Any of those original guys involved in any manner?
Not that I know of.
That's too
Not
bad.
that I know of. I mean, Todd's got producer consultant credit, and obviously there's been a lot of back and forth.
Todd's got his thumb
but-
in every goddamn thing. I was just hoping some of these old school guys got a little bit of notice for their awesome creation.
Chances are, I gotta wonder. I bet the credits will say, created by, or something like
I would
that.
hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. And of course, they've got their credit and flavor because they're the thread through the whole thing. Like we talked about, so much in Fallout 1 has persisted up through Fallout 4 and 76, and it's West Coast, like Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas. So there's going to be a lot from those games. A lot
Yeah,
of
they
influence.
did. In the trailer, you see a shot of Shady Sands. So
Yeah.
they're making
Well-
nods to the earlier games.
Yeah, you get that sign, at least the busted sign. Now, is that actually at Shady Sands, or is it a building, Shady Sands building? Like, is it outside? I don't know. Some people are trying to say that Shady Sands has been blown up or destroyed. Maybe, but there might have been a Shady Sands library just as an Easter egg or a hint down in, LA, right? We don't know that that's Shady Sands for sure.
Fair.
Where's this filmed? Where do they use this set?
All over. We know that there was some stuff in New York. We know there was some stuff in Nevada and California as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, all over. It's funny because actually in this trailer you finally saw the Super Duper Mart shot. So remember one of the very first leaked
Yeah.
footage things was the built Super Duper Mart, and that
Yeah,
made
with
it into
cool
this
car
trailer.
out front, right?
hmm
Neat.
Well, that's all I've got for the iguana bit.
Have we seen a super mutant yet?
No.
No,
Unfortunately.
no Deathclaw, no Super Mutant. Which cool,
Mirelurk?
but also
Nothing?
we probably will.
Just a rad
They have to
roach.
show up at some point.
Rad
yeah.
roach is the only thing we've seen, right?
As far as
Yagwai also.
yeah,
Yagwai.
Yagwai, Roach.
And dog meat, who is more of an Australian cattle dog than a German Shepherd.
Kind of,
Looks kind of Malinois.
yeah.
Did we see dog meat at all with like Lucy and stuff? Because they had that one
Yeah.
shake, sort of. Yeah, with Lucy. Because I don't remember good. I just remember
In
seeing
the
him
first trailer.
with the ghoul mostly. And it's like, 'cause
So-
they showed that sort of iconic scene of him walking down the road
In
with
this
dogs by
trailer.
his side. But yeah,
Yeah, and in the prior trailer, we saw Dog Meat with Wilzig, both when he was running and then at the camp
yeah, he's
when
got
he's
the hand in
saying,
his mouth there. Yeah.
You should
so
go
he's
back.
just kind of getting around then a little bit so far.
Seeing
'Cause
him
I
with
just
most
thought
of
it
the
was
main
odd seeing him
characters.
with the ghoul, and I was like, I would have expected him to be with the Vault Dweller because that's the way we play.
I think at that point they might be traveling together. We only get the ghoul and the dog in that shot, but there's no saying that Lucy's not traveling with them at the same
Right,
time, and you just don't see her in the shot.
I think so. After that shot where he first meets her and he's got the gun to her head, I think they travel together after that. That's my guess.
Does the Institute have any sort of West Coast presence?
No, not that we're aware of. And at this point, since it's 9 years later, they were most likely destroyed as well.
Not if you played it like I did.
Well, and we don't know that there aren't any synths that have made it out that far. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
there
possible.
could be
They've been doing
synths
Gen
that have
3
made-
synths for a while.
Yeah, Sense could totally make it across the country in a few years. Yeah.
I mean, well, because Gen 3 synths have been around for years. The Broken Mask
Ooh,
Institute with the
ooh.
first passing Gen 3 synth was like 80 years earlier. So.
I want a Nick Valentine Easter egg somewhere.
Mhm.
That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Starting to get a little excited. I really, for some reason, I don't want to say didn't care, but like I was just like, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. But now I'm actually like getting pretty pumped for it.
Being spot.
For sure. Yeah, that trailer was amazing. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I didn't mention the magic cards came out today too. You guys, people are getting them. They're opening them. They look awesome. Today was the day for that. So much Fallout. I did not buy any magic cards, so that was good.
God, I'd love
You
to.
were good.
I haven't played Magic since the 90s. So it's like they just sit on a shelf.
So cool seeing all these characters we know in there. They even have a lot of 76 representation. Sophia DeGuerre has a card.
Does she really?
Yes,
didn't
Sophia
see
has a
that.
card.
That's awesome.
Funny thing about that though, like every card has a power when you play it. That's the whole idea of Magic when you deploy things. Her deployment is her freaking crash landing. Okay, so like her power is place this on crash landing. She destroys someone else's legendary structure. Like really? She knows how to make an entrance.
Skills include crashing
Wow.
on people like the Wicked Witch.
And giving them headaches. Yeah. But the cards look amazing. Seeing a lot of great art. And some people are getting like, all the decks. Others getting booster packs. But I haven't gone to any like opening videos yet, but I definitely will soon.
Are we expecting any sort of fun connection to the show in the Atomic Shop? Like, will there be any fun, like, has anybody
They'd be
dug
remiss if
up
they
any
didn't do something like that.
any data mining of that sort of thing?
We've already got the Vault 33 jumpsuit. So that tie-in has already happened. Because Lucy's from Vault 33.
They have that in Shelter too. I don't know. Did I ever mention that to you guys?
I think a couple
no.
weeks ago.
Not in
maybe.
the game version, but in the phone version. They you get a cool new quest in a Vault 33 vault suit to bring home. So go do that if you haven't yet.
So the dog's name is CX404.
Fucking synth. That's the recall code for.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I knew he had a different name. CX404.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
why
it's definitely a Malinois.
I think he started as Wilsig's dog with whatever science place they were at.
It's
But
gonna
I
have
don't know.
Rex's brain or something, right? It's gonna do
So
one of those
Wilsig
things.
was performing experiments on the dog.
Potentially,
like-
or they
Okay.
escaped together, and others were performing experiments, and he's an escapee as well.
There
Oh,
you
no.
go.
So many theories. We will know in a month.
The anticipation's killing me.
Right?
The power armor does look really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like the robots, they really nailed the rusty futurism, future retro aesthetic. It's kudos to the special effects designer there. All right, you guys. What else we got on the agenda here? Let's see. Cover all our news. You want to play about 4 more games? Do a 4-hour show tonight?
I think we're
do that.
good. I think that's all we have.
Come on. Just 2 more games. Not 4.
I
Just 2
mean,
more.
it's
Just
been a
2
while
more
since I've
games.
been on. I could always make a list.
All right, you guys. I think we will take that opportunity to bow out for the week. But everyone, please enjoy your little trip into the simulation this week. We would love to hear about your adventures. Please send your 5-minute feedback file to thefalloutfeed@gmail.com, and we'll get you on the show next week.
You already have some good ones. Can't wait for more. Hear about Anchorage.
Beautiful. Already coming into the inbox. Good. All right. You can find Eric and all of his podcasts. He's got Nintenfo, also Tapes from the Wastes, and he's just got all sorts of awesome projects. You can find him at iangold08 over there on the Twitter for information on all of his other projects. Eric, thanks for hopping on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Will is at Will Wonka. He says he doesn't go there. No Mo. I don't know. Will, where do people go to find you?
The ASA podcasting Discord, maybe?
Yeah, there you
Hell
go.
yeah.
Attaboy. All right, so join our Discord if you'd like to interact with Will. Will, thanks so much for hopping on this week.
Thank you so much.
Ray can be found at Ray LB. Also, his No Man's Sky. I almost said something totally different. His No Man's Sky at BBCISSS for the Butcher, Baker, Candlemaker in Space. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
Jess is at Sleep is 4T and at You Wastelanders and at Dames Who Game. Jess, thanks so much.
It has been a fantastic night. Before we go, I just want to shout out, we did shout out Eric's Ian Gold, but also listen to Tapes from the Waste and some of his other podcasts. I don't remember if we said that or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Starfield Sandwich.
Shout
And Jess
out.
and I are also both on the Modus Files, so
True.
You're just so involved, everybody. Goodness. If you want to interact with me, join our Facebook group. The show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed. We will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Yeah, so you drag Gary from the other room into the pod room, and you lay him over the back of the chair.
This is where the magic happens.
Eat up people's quarters.
A beautiful view of my body.
this huge crowd standing around one person who's just completely kicking ass with it.
So that is a bit of a ritual.